Chapter 2706. No. That's impossible. This fellow is only a celestial domain grade. How could he possibly comprehend spatial laws? Furthermore, he comprehended two types. What kind of monster is this fellow? This is too much of a blow. What should we do? Even Sir Chen Jiang wouldn't be a match for him. What else can we do? Of course we have to beg for mercy. When they realized the predicament they were in, they panicked and hurriedly begged Mo Qingyun for mercy. Mo Qingyun paid no attention to their pleas for mercy and directly slashed out at them with his sword. A sword light swept past and engulfed them, killing them on the spot. Chen Jiang shuddered when he saw that his subordinates had been killed. His eyes were filled with shock. He hadn't expected that Mo Qingyun would be so decisive. He hadn't hesitated at all. After killing those quasi-universe grades, Mo Qingyun didn't waste any more time with Chen Jiang. Instead, he said, "I'll give you one last chance. Submit to me or die." Chen Jiang's face twitched uncontrollably when he heard Mo Qingyun's question. Given his current strength, he had no chance of escaping from Mo Qingyun, who had comprehended two types of spatial laws. However, he wasn't willing to submit to Mo Qingyun. Thus, he said, "Little brother, my father is the sect master of the Qi Emblem sect. I hope that you will give the Qi Emblem sect some face if I offended you earlier." "What is the Qi Emblem sect? Why should I give it face?" Mo Qingyun responded forcefully to Chen Jiang's words. He said, "If you're unwilling to submit, you can go accompany them." Mo Qingyun didn't waste any more time talking to Chen Jiang. Instead, he swung his sword at him. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, the only way to deal with someone like Chen Jiang was to beat him until he was afraid. Chen Jiang shuddered when he saw Mo Qingyun's attack. A strong sense of fear welled up in him. He hadn't expected that Mo Qingyun would be so decisive and leave no room for negotiation. "Kid, you're going too far." Faced with Mo Qingyun's attack, Chen Jiang shouted angrily and counterattacked. As soon as Chen Jiang attacked, he took out a halberd and waved it in the air. As Chen Jiang brandished his halberd, a powerful nomological power erupted from it. Shortly after, Mo Qingyun sensed it. Numerous halberd lights pierced towards him. Spatial penetration law. Seeing Chen Jiang's attack, Mo Qingyun frowned. He recognized Chen Jiang's space law. Soon after, a mocking look appeared in Mo Qingyun's eyes as he looked at Chen Jiang. Although the spatial penetration law could increase his attack power, it also meant that Chen Jiang had no way of escaping. Void piercing. Facing the incoming halberd lights, Mo Qingyun was not afraid at all, and directly slashed out with his sword. A sharp sword ray shot out from the Nine-Bull Divine sword and shattered the space in front of it. As the space in front of him was shattered, the spatial penetration law that Chen Jiang had used also dissipated. As the spatial penetration law's power dissipated, the halberd lights that were attacking Mo Qingyun also dissipated rapidly. Seeing that his halberd attack did not pose a threat to Mo Qingyun, Chen Jiang's face immediately turned pale. This was because he realized that Mo Qingyun's previous attack was actually able to break through the spatial penetration law. Who exactly is this kid? Seeing the strength that Mo Qingyun had displayed, Chen Jiang's face turned pale and fear rose in his heart. With this kid's talent and strength, he can't possibly be from a two-star faction. Thinking this, Chen Jiang did not dare to stay any longer and prepared to leave this troublesome place. Chen Jiang turned around and gave up on entering the mansion. Instead, he fled towards the depths of the island. "You won't be able to escape from me." The corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled into a mocking smile when he saw that Chen Jiang was about to flee. Soon after, Mo Qingyun moved and chased after Chen Jiang. Spatial compression. Under the power of the spatial compression law, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and he caught up to Chen Jiang. Seeing that his escape route was blocked, Chen Jiang's face immediately paled and he panicked. "Young master, I am extremely sorry about what happened just now. Please spare me this once. I've given you a chance. Submit or die. Emo Qingyun's face remained cold in response to Qin Jiang's words. He said coldly, "Remember, this is your last chance. I hope you'll grasp it well." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Qin Jiang's expression tensed as he quickly considered his options. He could tell that if Emo Qingyun wanted to kill him, he would not hesitate in the slightest. This kid must have an extraordinary background. It shouldn't be shameful to acknowledge him as my master. Qin Jiang's mood improved as soon as he thought about it. He knelt down towards Emo Qingyun and said, "Qin Jiang is willing to submit to you, young master. From now on, I will devote myself to you." "All right." Emo Qingyun nodded in satisfaction when he saw Qin Jiang's actions. Before long, Emo Qingyun had planted a soul brand in Qin Jiang's soul. "Let's go." After subduing Qin Jiang, Emo Qingyun did not stay any longer. He turned around and headed into the mansion. Qin Jiang hurriedly followed after Emo Qingyun when he saw him enter the mansion. They entered the dwelling together. Along the way to the mansion, Emo Qingyun asked curiously, "Tell me the secret of why you've come to the Shinmu continent." Qin Jiang's expression tightened when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. He showed some hesitation. Qin Jiang pondered for a moment before replying solemnly, "Not long ago, I went to one of Great King Zharong's old residences and obtained some information about him. Rumor has it that he once obtained a cosmic light source." "A cosmic light source?" Emo Qingyun's expression changed when he heard Qin Jiang's answer. He immediately became excited. He really had never imagined that Great King Zharong would actually be related to cosmic light sources apart from the universe. From the looks of it, this trip was really worth it. Emo Qingyun rejoiced when he thought about it. He secretly thought that this trip had been worth it. Soon after, Emo Qingyun and Qin Jiang entered the mansion together. The mansion was not very large. It only had a few simple rooms with a few items scattered about. However, these items were all ordinary items. There was nothing that Emo Qingyun needed. After walking around the mansion, Emo Qingyun concluded that the owner of this place was of ordinary status. "I'll have to try my luck at another mansion." After walking around the mansion, Emo Qingyun did not find anything, so he walked out of the mansion. Qin Jiang was also very gloomy when he received such an outcome. Not only had he lost a few subordinates for this mansion, but he had also been subdued by Emo Qingyun. He had suffered a great loss from this transaction. Qin Jiang sighed inwardly. He cast aside all distracting thoughts and silently followed behind Emo Qingyun. Chapter 2707. About half an hour later, Emo Qingyun once again walked out of a mansion with a disappointed expression. In the past 2 hours, he had searched another 10 mansions but still found nothing. After obtaining this result, Emo Qingyun came to a realization. He thought to himself, "It seems that these are all ordinary mansions. There are no treasures in them. If I want to obtain treasures, I have to find Great King Zharong's mansion." Emo Qingyun understood this point. He did not waste any more time and continued to search the ordinary mansions. At this moment, as Emo Qingyun was searching everywhere, a beautiful figure attracted his attention. Yao Yu. When Emo Qingyun saw the beautiful figure, his face immediately darkened and he hurriedly flew toward Yao Yu. It was because he discovered that Yao Yu was not lightly injured, and she was escaping with a panicked expression. If she was not mistaken, there should be someone chasing her from behind. As expected, not far behind Yao Yu, there was a group of people hot on her heels. "Let's go." After learning about Yao Yu's situation, Emo Qingyun immediately flew toward her and prepared to rescue her. Seeing Emo Qingyun's actions, Qin Jiang did not think much and hurriedly followed him. Soon, the two of them arrived in front of Yao Yu. Yao Yu's beautiful face lit up with joy. In her opinion, since she had met Emo Qingyun, her crisis had been resolved. What happened? After arriving beside Yao Yu, Emo Qingyun revealed a curious expression and inquired about the cause of the matter. Hearing Emo Qingyun's question, Yao Yu pondered for a moment and said, "Previously, I listened to you and entered the maze. I advanced all the way and successfully arrived here. However, I did not obtain the Space Spirit Orb, so I was unable to enter the mansion. When I was thinking of a way to enter the mansion, I met Fan Yong and his group. We discussed that we would search for treasures together. Who knew that when we found treasures, they would want to silence me?" After hearing Yao Yu's story, Emo Qingyun understood. At this moment, the people chasing after Yao Yu arrived in front of Emo Qingyun. "Little girl, you can't escape. Hand over the map obediently." When Fan Yong and the others caught up, they revealed cold smiles as if they were looking at prey. Hearing Fan Yong and the others' words, Emo Qingyun raised his head and glanced at them indifferently. Fan Yong and the others were not weak. There were a total of 2 universe realm powerhouses. It seemed like they had joined forces for the sake of benefit. 2 universe realm cultivators. That's not a weak force. Looking at Fan Yong and the others in front of him, Emo Qingyun's eyes narrowed as a plan formed in his mind. Seeing Emo Qingyun's reaction, Chen Zhang's expression changed. She could guess what Emo Qingyun was thinking. If he was not mistaken, Emo Qingyun wanted to subdue these 2. While Emo Qingyun was pondering, that Fan Yong walked out. He glanced at Emo Qingyun and said, "Little girl, is this your helper? He's only at the middle stage of the Star Domain realm. Can he take a punch from me?" "Lord Fan Yong, you think too highly of him. He can't even take a breath from you. Lord Fan Yong's breath of saint power is enough for this kid to cultivate for 10,000 years. How can he take it? The way I see it, Fan Yong and the others can kill this kid with a single glance." The followers behind Fan Yong all began to flatter him. Hearing the flattery behind him, Fan Yong sneered proudly and said, "Kid, ask the girl beside you to hand over the map she obtained. I'll make you 2 a pair of lovebirds." After teasing Emo Qingyun, Fan Yong looked at Chen Jiang and said, "Sir, I have no intention of becoming enemies with you. Please don't interfere in this matter." "That depends on Master's intentions," Chen Jiang replied coldly and looked at Emo Qingyun. Hearing Chen Jiang's words, Fan Yong and the others were shocked. They looked at Emo Qingyun with a slightly different expression. They didn't expect Chen Jiang, who was in the universe realm, to be Emo Qingyun's servant. In this case, Emo Qingyun's background was extraordinary. He was at least the young lord of a 2-star force. Emo Qingyun ignored the shocked gazes of Fan Yong and the others. He pointed at Fan Yong and the other universe realm expert and said, "You choose to restrain one of them. Leave the rest to me. I'll deal with this person." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Chen Jiang chose to deal with the other person and left Fan Yong to Emo Qingyun. Seeing Chen Jiang's choice, Emo Qingyun nodded and said, "If that's the case, then let's do it." As soon as Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he flew toward Fan Yong and said coldly, "You said that I can't take a punch from you. Let me try now." Hearing Emo Qingyun's provocation, Fan Yong's face immediately darkened. He snorted and said, "Boy, I don't need a punch to deal with you. I can kill you with a finger." As soon as Fan Yong finished speaking, he pointed his finger and blasted out a terrifying blast of saint power. Perhaps Fan Yong looked down on Emo Qingyun, but his punch didn't carry the law of space. Seeing Fan Yong's attack, Emo Qingyun didn't retreat at all. He immediately slashed at him with his sword. Emo Qingyun waved the 9-bull divine sword and immediately released a golden light. It slashed out an imposing sword light. The sword light was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it was in front of Fan Yong and slashed at his finger. An attack of this level can only tickle me. Seeing the sword light coming toward him, Fan Yong sneered and curled his lips. His face was full of disdain. However, before he could finish speaking, he was completely stunned. He realized that his palm shadow had been cut open by the domineering sword light. Then, under the bombardment of the sword light, his finger was cut off. If he hadn't dodged quickly, his entire right arm would have been cut off by Emo Qingyun's sword. You cut off my finger? Looking at his broken finger, Fan Yong's face was full of shock. He couldn't believe it. In his opinion, even if he didn't use his full strength, dealing with a mid-stage star sector level cultivator was just a matter of moving his finger. He didn't expect that Emo Qingyun would break his finger this time. Is there something wrong with your eyes? Can't you see that your hand is bleeding? In response to Fan Yong's question, Emo Qingyun responded indifferently. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He said, "With the power of your finger, it seems like you can't kill me. How about you try the power of a punch?" "Boy, don't be too arrogant. I was just careless." Seeing Emo Qingyun's arrogant attitude, Fan Yong immediately shouted angrily. He was furious. In his opinion, it was too shameful to be looked down upon by a mid-stage star sector level boy. Emo Qingyun didn't care about Fan Yong's anger. He waved the Nine-Bull Divine sword in his hand and said, "I also want to see if your punch or your sword is stronger." After Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he took the initiative to attack Fan Yong. Chapter 2708 Rising Dragon Sky Fist. A violent surge of Saint power surged out of Fan Yong's body like a dragon emerging from the sea. Then, the Saint power turned into dragons and charged at Emo Qingyun. The Saint power dragons flashed and arrived in front of Emo Qingyun, swallowing Emo Qingyun. Spatial Penetration Law. Seeing Fan Yong's attack, Emo Qingyun was shocked and immediately counterattacked. Under Emo Qingyun's attack, a mysterious spatial law was released from his body. Once the law of space was released, it sealed the space around him and formed a spatial defensive wall. Bang bang bang, the Saint Power dragons crashed into the spatial defense wall and made loud noises. Under the continuous attacks of the Saint Power dragons, cracks appeared on the spatial defense wall and it was almost destroyed by the Saint Power dragons. When he saw this scene, Emo Qingyun didn't hesitate at all and immediately slashed out with his sword. Bang bang bang. A sword radiance flashed through the air and instantly engulfed the Saint Power dragons and destroyed them. Then, Fan Yong's full force punch was neutralized by Emo Qingyun. Spatial law. Seeing Emo Qingyun's performance, Fan Yong's expression trembled and his eyes were filled with shock. Obviously, he did not expect Emo Qingyun to comprehend the spatial law with his middle stage star sector level cultivation. While Fan Yong was still in shock, Emo Qingyun blasted a palm at him and released the spatial law. Then, the space around Fan Yong was imprisoned, cutting off his escape route. Seeing that the space around him was imprisoned, Fan Yong panicked and hurriedly punched forward. Under the impact of Fan Yong's fist, the imprisoned space around him began to shatter bit by bit. Defense ignored. Spatial compression. When Fan Yong destroyed the space, Emo Qingyun slashed his sword at him again, blasting out a sharp sword light with an imposing aura. With the support of the spatial compression law, the sword radiance was extremely fast and arrived in an instant. Oh no! Fan Yong panicked when he saw the sword light approaching. He hurriedly tried to defend himself. As Fan Yong swung his fist, an even more violent Saint Power gathered on his fist. Then, two golden Saint Power fist shadows blasted out from Fan Yong's fist. Puff! Faced with the bombardment of the sword light, the two fist shadows were instantly dispersed without any resistance. The overbearing sword light dispersed the fist shadows and blasted onto Fan Yong's body, piercing through his chest. Suffering the tyrannical bombardment of the sword light, Fan Yong was directly blasted flying, vomiting a large mouthful of blood from his mouth. This brat is so strong. In front of him, I don't even have the ability to resist. After witnessing Emo Qingyun's strength, Fan Yong felt a sense of panic. He no longer had the arrogance from before. Looking at the fearful Fan Yong, Emo Qingyun was not in a hurry to act. He looked coldly at him and said, "It seems that my sword is sharper." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Fan Yong was silent. His expression was unreadable. Seeing Fan Yong's silence, Emo Qingyun did not stop talking. He continued to say to him, "I'll give you a chance. Surrender to me and I'll spare your life." Hearing Emo Qingyun's request, Fan Yong's expression became even more solemn. He had a strong sense of hesitation. He knew very well that if he did not surrender to Emo Qingyun, he would most likely die here. But for him to submit to Emo Qingyun, he was filled with unwillingness. While Fan Yong was hesitating, Yao Yu stabilized his injuries and came to Emo Qingyun's side. Seeing this scene, Fan Yong's face turned pale. He could not help but feel a sense of despair. Previously, when they were chasing Yao Yu, they had fought with him several times. They knew how strong he was. If they had not launched a sneak attack and seriously injured Yao Yu, they would not have been able to defeat him. Otherwise, in a head-on battle, they might not have been able to do anything to Yao Yu. Now that Yao Yu's injuries had stabilized and with Emo Qingyun's help, there was no suspense about the outcome. I surrender." Knowing his situation, Fan Yong no longer hesitated. He immediately surrendered to Emo Qingyun. In his opinion, with his actions of seriously injuring Yao Yu, if he did not surrender, he would definitely die. Seeing Fan Yong surrender to Emo Qingyun, the person who was fighting with Chen Jiang immediately shouted in fear, I'm also willing to surrender. Please give me a chance." Seeing that person's reaction, Emo Qingyun and the others were surprised. They did not expect him to be so tactful. Emo Qingyun was also happy to see that person surrender. It would save him a lot of trouble. Soon, Emo Qingyun had subdued the two people and continued to move deeper into the island. "Yao Yu, you guys came to the island first. Did you find King Xiaorong's residence?" Along the way, Emo Qingyun asked them, hoping to get some clues from them. Hearing Emo Qingyun's question, Fan Yong thought for a moment and said, "Master, some people from River Patrol City occupy a huge residence. If I'm not wrong, it's very likely to be King Xiaorong's residence." Hearing Fan Yong's words, Emo Qingyun's expression changed. He became anxious and said, "Do you remember the route? Bring me there immediately." Yes. Under Emo Qingyun's command, Fan Yong immediately led the way. While leading the way for Emo Qingyun, the Universe Realm expert with Fan Yong, Zhou Yu, said with a tense expression, "Master, there is a mid-stage Universe Realm expert among the people from River Patrol City. If you cross swords with them, you must be careful." "No worries." Emo Qingyun didn't care about Zhou Yu's reminder. He smiled faintly and said, "With my current strength, although I can't guarantee that I can kill him, it's not difficult to protect myself." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Zhou Yu and the others' expressions changed. Their eyes flashed with a hint of surprise. There was a big difference between killing and defeating. Immediately, Zhou Yu and the others stopped persuading him and silently led the way. In their opinion, since Emo Qingyun said so, he should be very confident. Then, Emo Qingyun followed Fan Yong and went deeper into the island. The connection between Pan Yong and I is getting stronger. It seems that he's not far ahead. As they went deeper into the island, Emo Qingyun made an unexpected discovery. It was not his own guess. The people from River Patrol City are just ahead. Could it be that Pan Yong is with them? As this thought came to mind, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly. He was looking forward to it. If that was the case, it would be fun. Soon, under the guidance of Fan Yong and Zhou Yu, the group arrived at a huge residence. There were many people guarding the surroundings of the mansion, preventing others from approaching. Chapter 2709. When he saw that Pan Yong was in the other party's camp, Emo Qingyun asked him about the situation. After communicating with Pan Yong, Emo Qingyun had a clear understanding of the situation of the River Patrollers' forces. There were a total of 4 early-stage Universe Realm powerhouses and 1 mid-stage Universe Realm powerhouse. As for the quasi-Universe Realm powerhouses, Although there were only 8 or 9 of them, it didn't affect the overall situation. Such a lineup was very luxurious for ordinary people. Of course, it wasn't impossible for Mo Qingyun and the others to defeat them. We have one more early-stage universe realm powerhouse. After comparing the strength of both sides, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, "In that case, we have a slight advantage in terms of lineup." While Mo Qingyun was pondering, Fan Yong's face turned cold and he said, "Master, some of the other party's people are not nearby. This is a good opportunity for us to strike. Should we take this opportunity to kill these people?" "Kill." When he heard Fan Yong's question, Mo Qingyun immediately ordered everyone. After Mo Qingyun gave the order, he took the lead and rushed out, intending to force his way into the mansion. River Patroller City is an important place. All unrelated people should leave immediately. Upon seeing Mo Qingyun's arrival, a quasi-universe realm powerhouse immediately berated Mo Qingyun. However, Mo Qingyun ignored his words and slashed at him without hesitation. A beam of sword light flashed by and engulfed that person, killing him on the spot. Enemy attack. Mo Qingyun's overbearing attack immediately attracted the attention of the other party, who called for the guards at the door. In a short while, Pan Yong and the others rushed over and blocked Mo Qingyun and the others. "So it's a mid-stage star domain kid. He has some guts." Upon discovering Mo Qingyun's cultivation base, one of them sneered at Mo Qingyun disdainfully. When they heard this person's words, the others in River Patroller City also felt disdainful. With their lineup, it was too easy to deal with a mid-stage star sector level brat. However, before they could feel disdain in their hearts, they saw Yao Yu and the others. For universe realm experts, to think that there was such a helper behind Mo Qingyun. In this way, the strength of these people was not enough to deal with it. "You guys hold them off for now, I'll go call for help." Seeing Mo Qingyun and the others approaching, Pan Yong threw down a sentence and flew into the mansion. With regards to Pan Yong's actions, the other people in River Patrol City did not think too much about it. They focused on defending against Mo Qingyun and the others. Space compression. Space imprisonment. Seeing his opponent's reaction, Mo Qingyun showed no mercy and immediately released the law of space. Then, the people of River Patrol City were trapped in a narrow space. Go all out. After trapping them in a small space, Mo Qingyun ordered Chen Jiang and the others to attack them together. With a wave of Mo Qingyun's 9-bull divine sword, a sword radiance immediately swallowed the few people. Behind the sword radiance, Chen Jiang and the others' fist radiance and blade radiance followed one after another. Bang bang bang. Under the attacks of Mo Qingyun and the others, a series of earth-shattering sounds came from the mansion. In the blink of an eye, a large number of buildings around them were overbearingly razed to the ground. At the same time, the few people in River Patrol City died in the hands of Mo Qingyun and the others. At this time, the rest of the people in River Patrol City retreated from the mansion. They saw their own people being killed on the spot by Mo Qingyun and the others. These people were all enraged. They looked at Mo Qingyun and the others angrily and said, "A bunch of reckless people. How dare you hurt the people of River Patrol City? I think you're tired of living." Although these people were furious, they did not attack immediately. Instead, they looked vigilant. Obviously, they were afraid of the strength of Mo Qingyun and the others. "You're Mo Qingyun?" Among the people in River Patrol City, the middle-stage universe realm cultivator recognized Mo Qingyun. Hearing the other party's words, Mo Qingyun did not deny it. He nodded and said, "That's right. Since you know who I am, then lay down your arms and surrender." "Humph. You think too highly of yourself if you want me to surrender without a fight." In response to Mo Qingyun's words, the middle-stage universe realm cultivator replied disdainfully. After chatting with Pang Meng for a while, someone from the River Patrol City's side immediately became impatient and said, "Lord Pang Meng, we have the upper hand. There is no need to waste words with them. Let's just kill them." All right. Hearing the words of the people beside him, Pang Meng nodded and pointed at Fan Yong. I'll deal with that person first. You guys hold the others back. I'll come over to help you guys after I've dealt with that person. Yes. Hearing Pang Meng's order, the few of them immediately responded and rushed towards Mo Qingyun's group. Seeing the few of them rushing over, Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold and he said, "It's not a wise choice for you guys to fight us head-on." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, his figure moved and flew towards Pang Meng, saying, "I'll deal with him. I'll leave the rest to you guys." Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and appeared in front of Pang Meng, blocking their path. Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, Pang Meng was stunned. He was a little surprised by Mo Qingyun's action. He did not expect that Mo Qingyun would dare to intercept him and face him alone. All right, let this old man deal with the super genius of the Heavenly Bull Divine Sect. Pang Meng threw out a sentence and rushed towards Mo Qingyun. A cold light flashed across his face as he said, "Once this old man kills you, those rebels who want to restore their country will be dreaming." At this moment, when Pang Meng attacked Mo Qingyun, a strange scene occurred. Pan Yong suddenly changed sides and seriously injured a Universe Realm expert from River Patrol City and joined Mo Qingyun's camp. Although that person managed to keep his life under Pan Yong's palm, he lost the ability to continue fighting. As a result, there were only 2 early-stage Universe Realm experts left on the River Patrol City's side. Even with the help of several quasi-Universe Realm experts, the 2 of them were no match for Yao Yu's group of 5. Pan Yong, you actually defected to Mo Qingyun. Don't you care about the lives of your clansmen? Seeing Pan Yong's action, Pang Meng's face darkened and he said angrily. He really did not expect that Pan Yong would defect to Mo Qingyun's side at this time. This was undoubtedly bad news for them. Pan Yong ignored Pang Meng's anger and attacked the remaining people. Chapter 27:10. While Mo Qingyun and the others were fighting, some people around them were attracted to the fight. Soon after, these people rapidly approached and soon arrived at the surroundings of the mansion. These people are so bold to provoke the people of River Patrol City. The people of River Patrol City are at a disadvantage. Look, that intermediate star sector level kid is fighting with Pang Meng. Where did this kid come from? He's not at a disadvantage when fighting with Pang Meng. Seeing Mo Qingyun and the others' actions, the crowd was shocked. In particular, Mo Qingyun's performance shocked them. With Mo Qingyun's intermediate star sector level cultivation, he was not at a disadvantage when fighting with Pang Meng. This ability was too terrifying. Immediately after, they looked at Mo Qingyun with reverence in their eyes. Under the crowd's gaze, Mo Qingyun said coldly as he fought with Pang Meng, "Pang Meng, there's no doubt about the outcome. I'll give you a chance to live. Surrender to me and I'll spare your life. Kid, although you're not weak, it's not enough to keep me here." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Pang Meng replied coldly, showing his disdain for Mo Qingyun. But before he could finish his words, his face was filled with shock and his eyes widened. 2. Space Laws. Seeing Mo Qingyun's space laws, Pang Meng was shocked and his face turned pale. As a result, the situation was very bad for him. While Pang Meng was still in shock, a sword light pierced through the sky and blasted towards him. In the blink of an eye, the sword light arrived in front of him and swallowed him. Bang! A loud sound was heard. Then, Pang Meng was sent flying. He was injured by Mo Qingyun's sword. Seeing Pang Meng being sent flying, the surrounding onlookers all revealed shocked expressions. They had not expected that Mo Qingyun would be able to crush Pang Meng in a fight. After severely injuring Pang Meng with one sword strike, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed. He arrived above Pang Meng and said, "Your subordinates have all been killed. I'll give you one more chance. Submit or die." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Pang Meng's expression froze, her eyes filled with confusion. Was he really going to submit? While Pang Meng was in a daze, Yao Yu and the others flew over and surrounded Pang Meng. Immediately, Pang Meng's path was blocked, and she fell into a situation where she was besieged on all sides. Seeing such a situation, Pang Meng's face revealed a look of despair. He knew that there was no way for him to escape. "I'm willing to submit." After understanding his situation, Pang Meng was very straightforward and chose to submit to Mo Qingyun. Seeing Pang Meng's performance, a faint smile appeared on Mo Qingyun's face. If he subdued Pang Meng, it would be extraordinarily easy to deal with the Divine Wood Imperial Court. It had to be said that he had gained a lot from this trip to River Patrol City. "Release your primordial spirit and let me plant a soul brand." Seeing that Pang Meng was willing to submit, Mo Qingyun did not say much and directly ordered him. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Pang Meng hesitated for a moment before releasing her primordial spirit. Then, a soul brand was planted in Pang Meng's primordial spirit. "All right, bring us into the residence." After subduing Pang Meng, Mo Qingyun ordered him to walk into the residence. Seeing Mo Qingyun and the others enter the residence, the surrounding onlookers all sighed. They had never thought that with Pang Meng and the others' strength, they would be defeated by Mo Qingyun. After entering the residence, Mo Qingyun asked Pang Meng, "Pang Meng, what did you find in King Zharong's residence? How far have you searched the residence?" "Master, we haven't found anything yet, but the residence's taboo is about to be broken." Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, Pang Meng told Mo Qingyun about the situation in the residence. While Pang Meng was speaking, he led Mo Qingyun and the others to the front of a room. There was an ancient taboo outside the room. Just as Pang Meng said, the taboo was about to be broken. A taboo formed by 7 space laws. Looking at the taboo in front of him, Mo Qingyun's expression was shocked. He had seen through its secret. Then, Mo Qingyun did not say anything else and directly slashed with the divine sword of 9 bulls. As Mo Qingyun swung his sword, a threatening sword ray blasted out from the divine sword of 9 bulls. Bang! Under the attack of the sword ray, the taboo was instantly destroyed and dissipated into the air. Seeing this, Pang Meng's expression trembled and his eyes were filled with shock. The taboo was broken. The taboo that had troubled them for a long time was actually broken by Mo Qingyun's sword. If he did not see it with his own eyes, he would not dare to believe it was real. "All right, let's go in." After breaking the taboo outside the room, Mo Qingyun walked into the room. As Mo Qingyun entered the room, a shocking aura enveloped him. He saw a number of imposing weapons neatly placed in the room. This is a top-tier universe-level weapon. It is engraved with the space compression law. This is the sun-splitting axe. It was once a famous weapon. I can't believe it was collected here. This map is the map of the Kuan Realm Master's residence. Looking at the items in the room, everyone exclaimed excitedly. Hearing everyone's words, Mo Qingyun revealed a look of excitement and quickly kept the map. Then, Mo Qingyun looked at the other items and chose what he wanted. After a while, a dazzling light bottle attracted Mo Qingyun's attention. The bottle contained the starry sky light source that he was looking for. The starry sky light source. After finding the starry sky light source, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately kept it in his hand. After keeping the starry sky light source, Mo Qingyun revealed a satisfied smile. This trip was really worth it. In this way, as long as I find the star nest source, I can focus on improving my cultivation. Mo Qingyun thought silently in his heart. He had a plan for the future. While Mo Qingyun was thinking, Yao Yu revealed an excited expression and pointed at the weapons around them. "Qingyun, how should we deal with these weapons? Should we take them away?" "Yes." Hearing Yao Yu's question, Mo Qingyun looked at the weapons and said, "Each of you can choose one that is suitable for you. The rest can be given to the others." "Yes." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yao Yu and the others were shocked and excited. They did not expect that Mo Qingyun would give these precious weapons to them so casually. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Chen Jiang and the others' desire to submit became stronger. Chapter 27:11 Huanyun City, City Lord's Mansion. When Mo Qingyun returned to Huanyun City, he gathered everyone. Pang Meng, why are you here? Ma Wenguang entered the main hall and saw Pang Meng sitting inside. His face was filled with surprise. Immediately, he emitted a hostile aura and looked at Pang Meng coldly. Seeing Ma Wenguang's action, the others who came with him also emitted a hostile aura. Everyone, don't panic. Pang Meng has already submitted to me. From now on, we are all on the same side. Seeing everyone's reaction, Mo Qingyun waved his hand at them and explained briefly. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the shock on Ma Wenguang and the others' faces immediately became more intense. They could feel that Pang Meng was already at the mid-stage of the universe realm. They did not expect that she would be subdued by Mo Qingyun. From this, it could be seen how powerful Mo Qingyun's strength was. With such a result, everyone's admiration for Mo Qingyun immediately became stronger. Everyone, take a seat. Gesturing to everyone, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and waved, taking out divine weapons one after another. He said, I obtained these weapons in a cave in River Patrol City. Each of you can choose a weapon that suits you. Top-tier universe-level divine weapons. Seeing the divine weapons in front of them, Ma Guangwen and the others widened their eyes. To them, these weapons were simply too precious. With these divine weapons, their strength would definitely increase greatly. After a slight shock, Ma Wenguang and the others did not hesitate and began to choose the weapons that suited them. After a while, Ma Wenguang and the others revealed joyful expressions as they chose the weapons that suited them. After waiting for everyone to choose their weapons, Mo Qingyun put away the remaining weapons and said, This time, I have gathered everyone because I have two things to tell you. One is to attack River Patrol City tomorrow, and the other is to help me search for information about the star nest's origin. Yes. Hearing everyone's orders, Ma Wenguang and the others nodded. At this time, Pang Meng, who was sitting below Mo Qingyun, said with a thoughtful expression, Master, a few years ago, when I was at the extreme north of the Wood Source Galaxy, I found a space fragment that showed signs of evolving into a cultivation planet. Maybe we can go there and try our luck. Mo Qingyun was overjoyed when he heard the news from Pang Meng. He said, Arrange for people to go to the extreme north of the Wood Source Galaxy and check out the situation of the star fragment. Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Pang Meng nodded respectfully. After chatting with everyone for a while, Mo Qingyun left the hall. A day's time passed quickly. The next morning, Ma Wenguang reorganized his troops and waited for Mo Qingyun's orders. Seeing that Pang Meng was ready, Mo Qingyun nodded with satisfaction and said, Pang Meng, since you are familiar with River Patrol City, you will work with the divine generals to reclaim it. Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Pang Meng nodded and said, Divine General, after so many years we can still fight side by side. I hope we can work well together. Of course. Ma Wenguang laughed. The two exchanged a few words and began to lead the troops to attack River Patrol City. Many of the experts in River Patrol City were killed by Mo Qingyun, leaving only the Universe Realm City Lord. Facing Ma Wenguang and the others, the officials in River Patrol City were so scared that they fled. There was no choice as the difference in strength between the two sides was too great. They would be courting death if they resisted. After taking over River Patrol City, Mo Qingyun said to Ma Wenguang, Send a message to the Grand Preceptor and ask him to reorganize River Patrol City. Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Ma Wenguang responded. After instructing Ma Wenguang, Mo Qingyun didn't want to delay the journey. He then instructed Ma Wenguang, With our current strength, there's no need to hold back. Let's go straight to the Divine Wood capital. Yes. Ma Wenguang was stunned and his eyes were filled with excitement. They were going to go all out. For the rest of the time, Mo Qingyun and the others were like this, madly breaking through all the obstacles along the way. The cities that they passed by on the way were all taken back by them with thunderous force. Since Pang Meng and the others were overseeing things, there was no need for Mo Qingyun to intervene. Thus, he went to the Hong Meng Fog Sea to cultivate. On this day, Mo Qingyun, who had been cultivating in the Hong Meng Fog Sea, opened his eyes in delight. Late stage, celestial domain grade. During this period of time, Mo Qingyun's cultivation had improved by another level as he continuously refined the Hong Meng spirit. Upon seeing his cultivation breakthrough, Mo Qingyun's expression turned solemn as he pondered. Now that my cultivation has improved, I can comprehend a new spatial law. Which spatial law should I choose? The 9-bull divine sword can replace the shattering and piercing laws. The expansion and displacement laws don't increase my battle strength by much. Then, I can only choose the spatial overlap laws. As soon as Mo Qingyun thought about this, he made a decision and started to comprehend the spatial overlapping nomological laws. With his previous experience, Mo Qingyun didn't force himself to comprehend the spatial overlap laws. Instead, he used the spatial gate. With the help of the spatial gate, he derived the spatial overlap laws and increased his comprehension little by little. The following time passed little by little. After an unknown period of time, the seawater around Mo Qingyun was suddenly divided into several regions. As the seawater around him was divided, Mo Qingyun stopped cultivating and opened his eyes with joy. During this period of time, with the help of the spatial gate, he observed and verified the spatial overlap laws. Mo Qingyun finally comprehended the spatial overlap laws. If this is the case, with my current strength, I can fight with a late-stage universe realm expert. After successfully comprehending the law of space overlap, a faint smile appeared on Mo Qingyun's lip. He estimated his own strength. Then, he stood up and prepared to continue hunting Grand Mist spirits to increase his strength. At this time, just as Mo Qingyun was about to hunt Grand Mist spirits, he received Pang Meng's soul transmission. We've already obtained the Divine Wood Imperial Capital. Receiving Ma Wenguang and the others' soul transmission, Mo Qingyun was surprised by their progress. He didn't expect that while he was in seclusion, they had already killed their way to the Divine Wood Imperial Capital. This speed was extremely fast. If that's the case, then let's have the final battle with Wang Xiao and the others. With a thought, Mo Qingyun left the Grand Mist Sea and the Fortune mainland. Mo Qingyun's figure flickered and appeared beside Ma Wenguang and the others. He saw a magnificent city. This was the Divine Wood Imperial Court's headquarters, Wang Xiao and the others' lair. Outside the Divine Wood Imperial capital, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and summoned Wang Zishu. Coming to Mo Qingyun's side, Wang Zishu was excited and said, "We're finally here. We can avenge Imperial Father, Imperial Mother, and our clansmen." When Wang Zishu said this, she looked at Mo Qingyun gratefully. Chapter 27:12. Mr. Mo, should we launch an attack now and fight Wang Xiao and the others? Standing beside Mo Qingyun, Ma Wenguang had an inquiring look on his face as he asked for Mo Qingyun's opinion. Hearing Ma Wenguang's question, Mo Qingyun thought for a while and said, "How is the progress of Lord Beixian and the elves? When will they arrive at the Divine Wood Imperial capital?" As soon as Mo Qingyun's words came out, Ma Wenguang understood that Mo Qingyun wanted to consolidate the forces. With their speed of progress, it will take at least 3 days to reach the Divine Wood Imperial capital. Ma Wenguang reported the situation of Lord Beixian and the elves truthfully, and then said, "Should we wait for them to arrive and launch a general attack on Wang Xiao and the others? 3 days is not long. Although we can wait, we can do it faster." Mo Qingyun calculated in his mind and had a plan. He ordered Ma Wenguang, Immortal General, immediately reorganize the troops. We will go to meet Lord Baixian and the elves and remove some obstacles for them. Yes. Ma Wenguang accepted the order and went to reorganize the troop. After a while, Ma Wenguang reorganized the troops and waited for Mo Qingyun's orders. Let's go. At Mo Qingyun's order, the army withdrew from the Divine Wood imperial capital and went to meet Lord Baixian and the elves. Following beside Mo Qingyun, Wang Zishu had an excited expression on her face. She had a strong sense of anticipation. 3 days. Perhaps in less than 3 days, she would be able to take her revenge. The withdrawal of Mo Qingyun and the others quickly attracted the attention of Wang Xiao and the others, which made them a little puzzled. At this moment, Wang Xiao and the others gathered in the Divine Wood Imperial Palace. My lord, Mo Qingyun and the others have retreated. Is there a conspiracy? An old man at the early stage of the universe realm asked Wang Xiao for his opinion with a tense expression. Wang Xiao's eyes narrowed when he heard the old man's words. His expression became much colder. He said, "They're just a motley crew. Once the sacred emissary arrives, they'll be wiped out easily." Upon hearing Wang Xiao's words, everyone in the hall was filled with awe and veneration. They knew very well that the reason why Wang Xiao was able to seize power back then was greatly related to this Supreme One. Thinking of the power behind Wang Xiao, the mood of everyone in the hall immediately became much more relaxed. In my opinion, Mo Qingyun is nothing. He must have retreated because he was scared. That brat can be considered a talent. If he is willing to submit, I can bestow upon him a rank 9 Sesame official. A 9th rank Sesame official is too big for him. I think it's about the same for a manservant who keeps horses. Haha, sirs, your ideas are brilliant. The pressure in everyone's hearts lessened, and they began to speak frankly and frankly. Seeing everyone's reaction, Wang Xiao did not say anything. He still had a solemn expression on his face. He was very clear about the exact situation, but he couldn't say it out loud. Although the dark demon race was powerful, they couldn't expose themselves yet. Therefore, they couldn't send out too many powerhouses. More importantly, they wanted to scheme against the entire universe. Why would they care too much about a 2-star plane? If it weren't for Mo Qingyun, they wouldn't even care if the Divine Wood Imperial Court was destroyed. After conversing with everyone, Wang Xiao didn't say anything else and ordered everyone to leave. Yonghan City. This was a city that King Baixian and the elf race had to pass through. In order to make it easier for the two parties to move forward, Mo Qingyun led Ma Wenguang and the others to the city. Yonghan City was not weak. It had 3 universe realm powerhouses, which was much stronger than other cities. However, to Mo Qingyun and the others, this kind of strength was still somewhat insufficient. City Lord Lu Shan, come out and meet us. Standing in the sky above Yonghan City, Pang Meng had a cold expression as he shouted at the city. Everyone in Yonghan City was startled when they heard Pang Meng's furious shout. In a short while, figures flew into the sky and confronted Mo Qingyun and the others. Why are Mo Qingyun and the others here? Their attack route shouldn't be on our side. When the leader of the group saw Mo Qingyun and the others, his expression immediately trembled. Obviously, the sudden invasion of Mo Qingyun and the others caused him to be extremely terrified in his heart. He knew very well that he was no match for Mo Qingyun and the others with his current strength. Lu Shan knew this and said to someone beside him, Deputy City Lord Ma Luo, immediately send a message to the Lord and ask them to send reinforcements. Yes. Ma Luo immediately went to carry out Lu Shan's order. After instructing Ma Luo, Lu Shan pretended to be calm and smiled faintly at Pang Meng and the others. Colleagues, long time no see. You're still as elegant as ever. Pang Meng's face darkened when he heard Lu Shan's polite words. City Lord Lu Shan, there's no point in delaying. Just open the city and surrender. Lu Shan's expression tensed up when he saw that his plan had been seen through. He had just sent out a request for reinforcements. Even if Wang Xiao and the others came, it would take at least a few hours. Hence, if Mo Qingyun and the others forcefully broke into the city, Wang Xiao and the others would not make it in time. Lord Pangmeng, what are you saying? I'm just reminiscing about the past with you. Lu Shan fell silent for a while before he smiled again, and continued to argue with Pangmeng and the others. Seeing Lu Shan's performance, Mo Qingyun did not waste any more words and shouted, "No need to say anything else. Just attack." Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's order, Ma Wenguang and the others immediately carried out the order and attacked Yonghan City. Subsequently, Ma Wenguang and the others attacked with all their might and attacked Yonghan City's city defense array. Bang! 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 Under everyone's continuous attacks, a series of loud bangs transmitted out from the city defense array. Except, no matter how Ma Wenguang and the others attacked, Yonghan City's city defense array was not damaged. Seeing this scene, Ma Wenguang and the others' brows furrowed tightly. Each and every one of their hearts became heavy. If they were unable to break the array formation, they would not be able to do anything to Lu Shan and the others. Colleagues, have you all been tired? Do you want to rest for a while? Seeing that Ma Wenguang and the others' attacks were unable to break the city defense array, Lu Shan revealed a smug cold smile and said, "I've already requested for reinforcements from His Excellency. They will come to reinforce in a few hours. If you all want to break into Yonghan City, you have to hurry up." Seeing Lu Shan's attitude, the faces of Ma Wenguang and the others immediately became dark. This guy was really too arrogant. "All of you withdraw. Let me break the array formation." Seeing that Ma Wenguang and the others were unable to break the array formation, Mo Qingyun instructed everyone and walked forward to prepare to break the array formation himself. Seeing Mo Qingyun walk up, the disdain on the faces of Lu Shan and the others immediately became even more pronounced. Toward Lu Shan and the others' teasing, Mo Qingyun did not care at all and said, "Many thanks for your reminder. I'll break the array formation as soon as possible." Chapter 27:13. Crack! Crack! When the sword light slammed onto the array formation, it erupted with a horrifying power, blasting the array formation until it split apart inch by inch. Before long, spiderweb-like cracks appeared on Yonghan City's city-protecting grand array. Seeing this scene, the smiles on Lu Shan and the rest's faces froze all at once. The array formation was damaged. Looking at this trend, Mo Qingyun unleashed another sword and the array formation was going to be broken. This unforeseen event gave him quite a fright. How is this possible? How can his attack be so strong? Seeing the array formation being destroyed, Lu Shan revealed a horrified expression, an appearance of being at a loss on what to do. Under Lu Shan's panicked gaze, Mo Qingyun brandished another sword, slashing out an even stronger sword light. Bang! The sword light slammed onto the city-protecting grand array, immediately erupting with a loud bang, blasting the city-protecting grand array apart. Blasting the city-protecting grand array apart, Mo Qingyun ordered Ma Wenguang and the rest, shouting, "Anyone who is unwilling to surrender and submit, kill all without mercy." Yes. Ma Wenguang and the rest received the order and surrounded Yonghan City. Seeing Yonghan City being surrounded on all sides, Lu Shan's complexion turned pale, his gaze becoming sluggish. The extreme joy begets sorrow that everyone talked about should be like this. My formation breaking speed is still considered passable, right? Looking at the Lu Shan who was at a loss, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and teased him. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Lu Shan revealed a bitter smile on his face, his mood gloomy to the extreme. This kind of formation breaking speed was seriously too fast, alright? Seeing Lu Shan not speak, Mo Qingyun did not mind either, directly saying to him in a cold voice, "On account that you're colleagues with Pang Meng and the rest, I'll give you a chance to live. Submit to me and I can spare you from death. Can you let me think about it?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's suggestion, Lu Shan had a pained look on his face, and did not give a reply right away. Lu Shan's attitude, Mo Qingyun was not displeased. Nodding his head, he said, "Give you 10 breaths of time to consider. If you still can't decide, I'll take it as you refusing." 10 breaths. Lu Shan's expression changed, and his heart sank. From the looks of it, it was impossible for him to stall for time. Soon after, he began to weigh the pros and cons of submitting to Mo Qingyun. He could tell that Mo Qingyun didn't really care if he submitted or not. If he refused to submit, Mo Qingyun would not hesitate to kill all of them. 10, 9, 8, 7 times slowly passed. "Time's up, state your choice." When the 10 breaths of time was up, Mo Qingyun did not speak any nonsense and directly asked Lu Shan for her choice. When Mo Qingyun said this, he emitted a killing intent that locked onto Lu Shan and the others. If Lu Shan refused, he would immediately attack and kill them. "I submit." Lu Shan sighed and chose to submit. Seeing that Lu Shan was willing to submit, Mo Qingyun nodded in satisfaction. He said, "Release your soul. Let me brand your soul." "Yes." Lu Shan and the others nodded and released their souls. Before long, Lu Shan and the others' primordial spirits were all implanted with a soul brand. They submitted to Mo Qingyun. Ma Luo thought for a moment, then asked Mo Qingyun, "Master, I asked Wang Xiao for help just now. He has already sent people to help. How should we deal with it?" Mo Qingyun looked surprised. After thinking for a moment, he revealed a faint smile and said, "If that's the case, we have to put on a show and play with them." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ma Wenguang and the others were curious. They all listened carefully. Under everyone's gaze, Mo Qingyun explained his plan to everyone in detail. After listening to Mo Qingyun's plan, everyone was excited. Each and every one of them could not wait. "Good plan. When the time comes, we will definitely catch them off guard when they are careless. Let's exhaust some of their strength first. When the time comes, attacking the Divine Wood Imperial capital will be much easier." Everyone expressed their thoughts one after another. Next, everyone discussed the details of the plan, and then they divided up the work. This time, as long as there were no accidents, the people sent by the Divine Wood Imperial Court might be completely annihilated. Immediately, everyone silently waited for the people sent by the Divine Wood Imperial Court to arrive. Several hours later, a group of people arrived outside Yonghan City and confronted Mo Qingyun's people. Seeing these people arrive, Mo Qingyun and the others were surprised. They were all Universe Realm powerhouses. 9 Universe Realm powerhouses, 1 mid-stage Universe Realm, and 8 early-stage Universe Realm. Seeing the lineup of people who came to help, Mo Qingyun was shocked and frowned slightly. If they had not taken Lu Shan and the others and allowed them to meet up, they would have been in a bad situation. What surprised Mo Qingyun even more was that the Divine Wood Imperial Court had lost so many powerhouses, but they still had such a lineup. He had to admit that the strength of the Divine Wood Imperial Court greatly exceeded his expectations. Jin Chuanmi. While Mo Qingyun was sizing up those people, Wang Zishu's pretty face immediately turned cold. Back then, her mother had been severely injured by Jin Chuan's attack, and had passed away like a wisp of smoke. "Don't worry, he won't be able to escape today. I will capture him alive." Seeing Wang Zishu's performance, Mo Qingyun comforted her and gave her a promise. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Wang Zishu's beautiful eyes moved and felt touched. "Haha, you're finished. Master's reinforcements have arrived." Seeing the arrival of Jin Chuanmi and the others, Lu Shan pretended to be happy and flew out of Yonghan City. After flying out of Yonghan City, Lu Shan revealed a smug sneer and deliberately said to Mo Qingyun and the others, "You want me to submit to you? You're dreaming. I was just pretending to be polite just now to stall for time." "Lu Shan, you're despicable and shameless." Ma Wenguang pretended to be angry and matched Lu Shan's expression. The two of them echoed each other and cooperated seamlessly, leaving Jin Chuanmi and the others without the slightest doubt. City Lord Lu Shan is wise. City Lord Lu Shan, your tactic of stalling for time is well executed. Now that they're attacked from the front and the back, we'll annihilate them in one fell swoop. Seeing Lu Shan's performance, some people who were familiar with him immediately spoke up to curry favor with him. Seeing the performance of Jin Chuanmi and the others, the smile on Lu Shan's face immediately became wider. He said, "Everyone, let's talk about it later. Let's finish them off first so that they don't escape." Immediately, Lu Shan's figure moved and directly charged towards Mo Qingyun and the others. "Let's go too." Seeing Lu Shan and the others move, Jin Chuanmi and the others did not hesitate and immediately joined the battle. Immediately, they lost the chance to think and analyze Lu Shan's abnormal behavior. Chapter 27:14. I'll go deal with Jin Chuanmi. You guys take care of the others. When Mo Qingyun rushed out, he said to everyone, "Don't worry." Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's instructions, Ma Wenguang and the rest immediately received the order and went to deal with the other people one after another. In a short moment, the great battle was on the verge of breaking out. Both sides started slaughtering crazily. "Brat, you've got guts, to actually dare contend with me alone." Seeing Mo Qingyun rushing towards him, Jin Chuanmi's face revealed a cold look, emitting a frosty killing intent. Toward Jin Chuanmi's killing intent, Mo Qingyun was not the slightest bit afraid and said calmly, "Since I promised Zi Shu to capture you alive for her, I naturally have to take action personally." "Arrogant brat, this old man wants to take a look at what kind of capabilities you have." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Jin Chuanmi bellowed angrily, his face becoming as black as ink. In his view, Mo Qingyun saying that he wanted to capture him alive was a kind of humiliation to him. Capturing him alive and killing him were two completely different concepts. Primordial heaven flipping slash. Jin Chuanmi gave a furious roar. A surge of mysterious primordial power erupted from within his body. Augmenting the primordial power onto the blade, it immediately gave off a dazzling light, turning into an astonishing blade light. This blade light rumbled out and arrived with a flash, arriving in front of Mo Qingyun in a twinkle. Primordial power. Seeing Jin Chuanmi make his move, Mo Qingyun's brows furrowed, a hint of surprise appearing in his eyes. He did not expect that Jin Chuanmi could actually deploy the primordial power, and so freely. Back then in the Heavenly Bull Divine sect, Zi Wang burned his bloodline power before he deployed the primordial power. Now, Jin Chuanmi deployed an even stronger primordial power with a casual attack. It could be seen from this that the bloodline that Jin Chuanmi planted was even stronger than Zi Wang's. Spatial imprisonment. Looking at the blade light attacking at extreme speed, Mo Qingyun immediately released the power of space, imprisoning the space in front. Immediately, the blade light that Jin Chuanmi blasted out was blocked by the imprisoned space. The laws of space. This kid is really strange. Seeing Mo Qingyun's performance, Jin Chuanmi's eyelids twitched, and his eyes flashed with shock. After neutralizing Jin Chuanmi's attack, Mo Qingyun swung the 9-oxen divine sword and launched a counterattack. Void piercing. Ignore defense. Space compression. Taurus sky piercing slash. Mo Qingyun brandished his sword, and an imposing sword light blasted towards Jin Chuanmi. Facing the sword light, Jin Chuanmi's expression trembled. The shock in his eyes grew even stronger. He said, "The laws of space compression. This kid has actually comprehended 2 laws of space. No wonder his honor values him so much." At this moment, Jin Chuanmi finally understood just how monstrous Mo Qingyun was. Immemorial heaven shaking dipper. Looking at the rapidly approaching sword light, Jin Chuanmi did not dare to be careless. He clenched his fists and erupted with ancient power. Then, a terrifying black energy formed outside Jin Chuanmi's body. Facing the resistance of the black gang qi, The sword light flashed and directly pierced through it. Slash. After passing through the black Gangchi, the sword light hit Jin Chuanmi and pierced through his chest. After being hit by Emo Qingyun's sword, Jin Chuanmi was immediately sent flying and spat out a mouthful of blood. Then, the black Gangchi that surrounded his body dissipated in the blink of an eye. How is this possible? How can his sword move ignore my ancient power? After being injured by Emo Qingyun's sword, Jin Chuanmi's expression trembled. His eyes were filled with shock. The strength that Emo Qingyun displayed had already frightened him and made him fearful. Bang bang bang, while Jin Chuanmi was shocked, Lu Shan and the others suddenly turned around and attacked the people of the Divine Wood Court. In the blink of an eye, several people of the Divine Wood Court seriously injured Lu Shan and the others. Lu Shan Yu, seeing the actions of Lu Shan and the others, Jin Chuanmi and the others were furious. They were so angry that they gritted their teeth. With their intelligence, they could naturally see that Lu Shan and the others had rebelled. Not only had they rebelled, but they had also set them up. We've been tricked. After understanding the current situation, Jin Chuanmi did not want to stay any longer. He immediately shouted to the people accompanying him, "The situation is not good for us. We'll retreat immediately." After Jin Chuanmi finished speaking, he turned around and fled. He did not dare to stay any longer. In that instant, the difference in strength between the two sides had reversed 180 degrees. If he did not leave now, he would not be able to escape when Pang Meng joined in. "Where do you think you're going?" Seeing that Jin Chuanmi was about to escape, Emo Qingyun shouted angrily and said to Pang Meng and the others, "I'll leave this to you. I'll go and capture that guy." After Emo Qingyun finished speaking, he turned into a stream of light and chased after Jin Chuanmi. Spatial compression. Shadow Ox Tempest Sword. As Emo Qingyun flew at full speed, he quickly caught up with Jin Chuanmi and closed the distance between them bit by bit. Seeing that Emo Qingyun was catching up, Jin Chuanmi's face turned pale. He panicked and said, "How can this kid fly so fast? Is he really at the mid-stage star sector level?" While Jin Chuanmi was panicking, Emo Qingyun's figure flashed and appeared in front of him. Seeing that Emo Qingyun was blocking his way, Jin Chuanmi's face twitched and his eyelids twitched. Based on the current situation, it was absolutely impossible for him to escape from Emo Qingyun. "Kid, you've gone too far. Die with me." Jin Chuanmi shouted angrily and rushed towards Emo Qingyun. He wanted to fight Emo Qingyun to the death. If he wanted to leave this place today, the only way was to kill Emo Qingyun. "You want me to die with you? Let's see what you're capable of." Seeing that Jin Chuanmi was rushing towards him, Emo Qingyun shouted coldly and launched a counterattack. As soon as Emo Qingyun attacked, he activated the Nine-Bull Divine Sword and slashed at Jin Chuanmi. Spatial compression. Spatial imprisonment. When Emo Qingyun swung his sword, two shocking spatial laws were added to the sword light. Then, Jin Chuanmi was trapped in midair and could only watch as the sword light approached him. Not good! Seeing his situation, Jin Chuanmi screamed and attacked the space around him with all his might. Under Jin Chuanmi's attack, the spatial confinement nomological laws around him were quickly dispersed by him. Unfortunately, although he had destroyed the spatial imprisonment laws, the sword light was already in front of him. The sword light hit Jin Chuanmi and split his body into two, destroying his physical body. When Jin Chuanmi's physical body was destroyed, his primordial spirit looked terrified and tried to escape from Emo Qingyun's line of sight. However, before he could escape, a huge palm caught him in its grasp. Seal. After capturing Jin Chuanmi's primordial spirit, Emo Qingyun formed a hand seal and sealed his primordial spirit. After capturing Jin Chuanmi's primordial spirit, Emo Qingyun did not stay any longer and returned to Yonghan City in a flash. After a short while, when Emo Qingyun returned to Yonghan City, Lu Shan and the others were stunned. Chapter 27:15. Mr. Mo, those people have been taken care of. What should we do now? Seeing that Mo Qinyun had arrived, Ma Wenguang reported the situation to him. Hearing Ma Wenguang's report, Mo Qinyun nodded and said, "Let everyone enter Yonghan City and rest. When King Beixian and the elf race arrive, we will attack the Divine Wood Imperial capital together." Okay. Ma Wenguang responded and went to reorganize the troop. Soon, everyone entered Yonghan City to rest and reorganize while waiting for King Beixian and the elf race. After entering Yonghan City, Mo Qinyun moved Wang Zishu out of the Fortune mainland. "Zishu, this is Jin Chuanmi's primordial spirit. I'll leave it to you." Seeing Wang Zishu appear beside him, Mo Qinyun handed Jin Chuanmi's primordial spirit to her. Seeing Mo Qinyun's action, Wang Zishu's pretty face changed and she was touched. Mo Qinyun did not lie to her. He really captured Jin Chuanmi. "Thank you." Wang Zishu thanked him and she captured Jin Chuanmi's primordial spirit. Her pretty face was cold as she said, "Back then, when you were being hunted, my father saved you. How dare you harm him? You are such an ungrateful person. You deserve to die." Wang Zishu shouted and she blasted a palm at Jin Chuanmi, blasting out a shocking palm force. Your Highness, please spare my life. I know I was wrong." Seeing Wang Zishu's palm attack, Jin Chuanmi panicked and hurriedly begged for mercy. However, Wang Zishu was indifferent to his begging. She shouted, "The revenge of my parents is irreconcilable. You are unforgivable. Die." Bang! A palm shadow blasted out and hit Jin Chuanmi's primordial spirit, directly destroying his primordial spirit. After killing Jin Chuanmi, Wang Zishu's pretty face relaxed a little, as if the dark clouds in her heart had dissipated. Seeing Wang Zishu's expression, Mo Qinyun caressed her hair and said, "The dead can't come back to life. Don't be too sad. I think your parents in the underworld wouldn't want to see you sad." "Yes." Wang Zishu nodded. After comforting Wang Zishu, Mo Qinyun walked towards the city lord's mansion to arrange other matters for everyone. Seeing Mo Qinyun walk forward, Wang Zishu followed him into the city lord's mansion. A short while later, Mo Qinyun entered the Fortune mainland after assigning all his tasks to Huang Xiaolong. After entering the Fortune mainland, Mo Qinyun immersed himself in cultivation, striving to increase his cultivation as quickly as possible. A few days passed very quickly. On this day, Pan Yong's soul message appeared in Mo Qinyun's mind. "Since both sides have arrived, it's time to launch the attack." After receiving Pan Yong's soul message, Mo Qinyun no longer thought about it and immediately left the Fortune mainland. After leaving the Fortune mainland, Mo Qinyun went to the Yonghan City's city lord's mansion to meet with the North Xian King and the Elf Patriarch. "Mr. Mo. Greetings, Mr. Mo." Seeing Mo Qinyun enter the main hall, the North Xian King and the Elf Patriarch stood up and saluted. Mo Qinyun nodded indifferently at everyone's actions and walked to the front of the hall. "No need to be so courteous." Mo Qinyun waved his hand indifferently at everyone's actions and swept his gaze over them. Mo Qinyun's gaze swept over them and was surprised to find that both sides were not weak. There were several late-stage universe realm experts in the elf tribe, which really surprised Mo Qinyun. However, what surprised Mo Qinyun the most was the people on the North Xian King's side. Among the North Xian King's people, there were nearly 10 universe realm experts, and one of them was even at the mid-stage of the universe realm. If Mo Qinyun had not seen this powerful lineup with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe. It seems that this North Xian King is not simple, he knows how to endure. Seeing the North Xian King's performance, Mo Qinyun nodded in understanding and thought silently in his heart. After exchanging a few pleasantries with everyone, Mo Qinyun did not beat around the bush and said directly, "Both of you, what suggestions do you have for attacking the Divine Wood Imperial City? Why don't you tell us?" I think that with the strength of our three sides, we can launch an attack directly. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, the elf patriarch immediately answered, indicating that they would attack the city with thunderous force. Hearing this, the North Xian king shook his head and said, Wang Shao and the others are not scary, but the force behind them is extremely powerful. We must act carefully. More importantly, if we attack by force, they will definitely fight to the death, and there will be a lot of casualties. Mo Qingyun did not deny the North Xian king's concern. The situation was indeed like this. Hearing the North Xian king's words, Mo Qingyun showed a curious look and asked, What do you think we should do, North Xian king? I think we should use the battle to support the battle, besiege the Divine Wood Imperial City, and slowly exhaust their battle strength. Under Mo Qingyun's inquiry, the North Xian king did not hide his thoughts and spoke his mind. Knowing the North Xian king's intention, Mo Qingyun immediately rejected it. He did not want to do so. He still had to find the origin of the star nests, so he could not spend a long time here and fight a war of attrition with Wang Shao and the others. More importantly, the longer this battle dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for them. It should be known that standing behind Wang Shao and the others was the Dark Demon Clan, who had brought disaster to all the realms in the starry sky. If they sent reinforcements, it would be an extremely bad thing for the three of them. Fighting a war of attrition is not a wise choice. It will cause too many changes. Mo Qingyun thought for a moment. He rejected the North Xian king's suggestion and said directly, In order to prevent any accidents from happening, let's reorganize and launch a general attack on the Divine Wood Imperial City tomorrow. Seeing Mo Qingyun's plan, the North Xian king frowned, faintly showing a trace of displeasure. He did not expect Mo Qingyun to be so domineering and directly give them an order. Okay, it's settled then. Hearing Mo Qingyun's order, the elf clan leader did not think much and agreed without hesitation. However, a person behind the North Xian king showed a touch of displeasure and said, Mr. Mo, if we force an attack like this, we can certainly break through the Divine Wood Imperial City faster, but if there are casualties, how should we deal with this matter? Hearing this person's questioning words, the elf clan leader was immediately displeased and said, There are bound to be casualties in war. Even if we fight a long war of attrition, there will still be some casualties. This is unavoidable. The person did not pay attention to the elf clan leader's words. He changed the topic and said, Putting aside the casualties of the war, after we break through the Divine Wood Imperial City, how should the benefits be distributed? As soon as this person said this, the atmosphere in the hall immediately became oppressive. Chapter 27:16. How do you think it should be distributed? Seeing the man's behavior, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold and questioned him. Mo Qingyun could see that this man dared to speak like this because he must have been instructed by someone. Immediately, Mo Qingyun looked at Lord Beixian coldly. If Lord Beixian did not know what was good for him, he did not mind killing him together. Since he wanted to help Wang Zishu restore her kingdom, he had to get rid of all the hidden dangers to avoid trouble in the future. Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, the man glanced at Lord Beixian and said, I think that since it's a three-way cooperation, after the Divine Wood Imperial capital is breached, the entire territory of the Divine Wood continent should be divided equally among us. Other than King Beixian and the others, everyone else was shocked when they heard the man's words. No one expected that this man would make such a request. After a little surprise, the elf patriarch glanced at Lord Beixian and the others with a contemptuous look and said, We elves don't need territory. We just want to live in the Divine Wood continent. If Mr. Mo wants to drive us away, I won't complain. Seeing the elf patriarch's behavior, Mo Qingyun nodded with a faint smile. He had a good impression of the elf patriarch and said, Elder, you're too serious. Today, I promise you on behalf of Zishu that as long as you elves have no rebellious thoughts, you can live in the Divine Wood continent as long as you want. Thank you, Mr. Mo. After receiving Mo Qingyun's promise, the elf patriarch cupped his hands. After responding to the elf patriarch, Mo Qingyun turned to look at Lord Beixian coldly and said, Lord Beixian, what the man behind you said, does he represent you? As Mo Qingyun spoke, a fierce killing intent erupted from him. Feeling Mo Qingyun's killing intent, Lord Beixian's expression trembled. He quickly waved his hand and explained, Mr. Mo, please don't misunderstand. I just want to help Princess Zishu restore her kingdom. I have no intention of asking for rewards. That's great. Hearing Lord Beixian's answer, Mo Qingyun nodded coldly, his eyes flashing with warning. Then, he looked at that person and said in a domineering manner, I will tell you clearly that helping me destroy the Divine Wood Imperial Court is only the duty of a subject. It is not a cooperative relationship. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Lord Beixian's face twitched and a strange look flashed across his eyes. However, due to Mo Qingyun's strength, he did not dare to reveal it. Mo Qingyun berated that person. He then waved his hand at Pang Meng and said, Pang Meng, this person has no respect for imperial authority and is disrupting the morale of the army. He must be an enemy sent by Wang Xiao. Execute him immediately. Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's order, Pang Meng responded and attacked that person. Seeing this, King Beixian's body trembled. He hurriedly shouted to Mo Qingyun, Young Master Mo, Li Bai was just confused for a moment. Please give him a chance to change. Seeing Lord Beixian pleading for mercy, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold and immediately showed his displeasure. He questioned, Lord Beixian, this person is a spy that Wang Xiao placed beside you. Now I am going to get rid of him for you, but you say that you want to protect him. Are you in cahoots with Wang Xiao? No. Under Mo Qingyun's questioning, Lord Beixian's expression immediately trembled, and a trace of panic appeared on his face. If Mo Qingyun were to accuse him of such a crime, he would undoubtedly die today. He could tell that Mo Qingyun wasn't joking when he said that just now. In Mo Qingyun's eyes, they were indeed just subjects. If a subject wanted to challenge the king, it was clearly an act of courting death. In that case, you don't have to worry about this. Just sit aside and watch. Seeing that Lord Beixian did not speak, Mo Qingyun waved his hand at him and warned him. After warning Lord Beixian, Mo Qingyun did not talk nonsense and immediately slashed at Li Bai. With a flash of light, the divine sword of 9 bulls blasted out a sword radiance and arrived in front of Li Bai in the blink of an eye. Puff! In the face of Mo Qingyun's sword radiance, Li Bai did not react in time and was instantly hit by the sword radiance. Then, his physical body was destroyed and his primordial spirit escaped from his body in a panic. Where do you think you're going? Seeing that Li Bai's primordial spirit was about to escape, Pang Meng stretched out his palm and hit his primordial spirit overbearingly. After being hit by Pang Meng's palm, Li Bai's primordial spirit instantly exploded and his divine soul was destroyed. Seeing Li Bai's fate, Lord Beixian and the others gasped and a touch of surprise flashed in their eyes. A universe realm cultivator had been killed just like that. The spy has been eliminated. Everyone leave. Tomorrow we will attack the Divine Wood Imperial capital. After killing Li Bai, Mo Qingyun waved his hand at the crowd, indicating that they could leave. Hearing Mo Qingyun's order, everyone got up and left the hall. Mr. Mo, Lord Beixian is obviously disloyal. Should we, seeing Lord Beixian and the others leave, Ma Wenguang's face turned cold and he made a beheading gesture. Hearing Ma Wenguang's question, Mo Qingyun waved his hand and said, He's just a clown. He can't make any waves. Don't pay attention to him for the time being. Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's idea, Ma Wenguang and the others said no more. Mo Qingyun thought for a moment, frowned slightly, and said to Ma Wenguang and the others, Although we don't have to pay attention to Lord Beixian and the others, in tomorrow's battle, we can't be careless. We have to prevent Lord Beixian and the others from betraying us. We know. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ma Wenguang and the others looked solemn and silently raised their vigilance. Mo Qingyun's worry was still very necessary. In tomorrow's battle, Lord Beixian and the others would suddenly turn around and attack them like Lu Shan. It would definitely throw them into disarray and put them in a passive position. You guys can leave too. After talking with Ma Wenguang and the others for a while, Mo Qingyun asked them to leave. Then, everyone left the hall and waited for the arrival of the next day. At this moment, in Lord Beixuan's tent, Lord Beixian and the others gathered. Your Highness, that guy is too arrogant. He actually killed Li Bai directly. He killed the chicken to warn the monkey. He did it deliberately for us to see. Does he really think we're easy to bully? We can't just let this go. We must get revenge. Lord Beixuan's subordinates were all indignant. Seeing everyone's reaction, Lord Beixuan's expression was also serious. He said coldly, "The current situation is not good for us. It's not the time to act. When the time is right, we will naturally settle this score." Hearing Lord Beixuan's words, everyone stopped talking and suppressed the anger in their hearts. Next, Lord Beixian and the others secretly discussed, and then they separated. Chapter 27:17. Outside the Divine Wood Imperial Capital. Under Mo Qingyun's lead, after several hours of traveling, everyone arrived here. The arrival of Mo Qingyun and the others immediately attracted the attention of the people in the imperial capital, and they all panicked. Soon, the news of Mo Qingyun and the others' arrival reached Wang Zhao's ears. Sitting in the Divine Wood Imperial Palace, Wang Zhao's expression was heavy, and his brows were tightly furrowed. He did not expect Mo Qingyun to arrive so quickly and arrive before the Dark Devil race. "My lord, the rebel army has arrived outside the imperial capital. What should we do now?" A middle-aged man in a dragon robe asked Wang Zhao's order with a nervous expression. Hearing this middle-aged man's words, Wang Zhao frowned and said in a deep voice, "With our current forces, we are no longer their match. If we fight them head-on, it will only increase unnecessary casualties. Let's temporarily retreat from the imperial capital and wait for the Lord's men to arrive." After Wang Zhao said this, he walked out of the main hall, preparing to temporarily avoid the danger. Bang bang bang. As soon as Wang Zhao walked out of the main hall, the imperial capital's city defense array was overbearingly blasted open. Seeing this situation, Wang Zhao and the others' expressions trembled, and their faces were filled with horror. Because they saw a group of people arrive above them after the array was broken. "Wang Zhao, you didn't expect this day to come, did you?" Arriving above Wang Zhao and the others, Ma Wenguang's face was as dark as ink as he questioned Wang Zhao and the others. Hearing Ma Wenguang's reprimand, Wang Zhao and the others' expressions trembled, and they all fell silent. They really did not expect that in just a few decades they would end up like this. "Humph. I just regret being soft back then and not killing you all." Glancing at Ma Wenguang and the others, Wang Zhao snorted coldly, and a strong killing intent arose. Hearing Wang Zhao's words, Pan Yong's face was as cold as frost, and he exuded a cold aura. He said, "Thank you for your reminder. To prevent us from repeating the same mistakes after killing you, we will exterminate your entire family." No need to say anything more, just do it. Seeing that both sides were arguing, Mo Qingyun directly ordered everyone to rush towards Wang Zhao and said, "You guys deal with the others. I will personally capture Wang Zhao." "Yes." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ma Wenguang and the others immediately obeyed. Soon, an intense battle broke out in the blink of an eye. "Damned brat, he's like a ghost that won't go away." Seeing Mo Qingyun flying towards him, Wang Zhao's face darkened. He gritted his teeth and snorted coldly. In his opinion, if not for Mo Qingyun's participation, Ma Wenguang and the others would not have been able to restore the country. Space imprisonment. While Wang Xiao was infuriated, he did not hesitate and immediately used the space law. Then, the space around Mo Qingyun was sealed by a force. Void-piercing. Seeing that the space around him had been sealed, Mo Qingyun waved the nine-bull divine sword and slashed at the space in front of him. A sharp sword light slashed out and destroyed the space in front of him. After destroying the space, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed and continued to chase after Wang Xiao. The spatial imprisonment law was broken so quickly. Seeing this, Wang Xiao's expression trembled and a look of shock appeared on his face. If he could not trap Mo Qingyun, he would not be able to escape. Space compression. As Mo Qingyun chased after him, a mysterious space law was released from his body. As the law of space was unleashed, the distance between him and Wang Xiao rapidly narrowed. It didn't take long for Mo Qingyun to catch up to Wang Xiao and block his path. He said, "Wang Xiao, you won't be able to escape. Just surrender obediently." "Humph, even if I die, I will not surrender to you." Wang Xiao's tone was tough and gave a firm answer to Mo Qingyun's words. Hearing Wang Xiao's words, Mo Qingyun did not waste any more time and decisively slashed at him with his sword. Suddenly, a sword light with a threatening aura appeared in front of Wang Xiao. Looking at the rapidly approaching sword light, Wang Xiao did not dare to be careless and immediately dodged to the side. However, before Wang Xiao could dodge, a shocking power of law enveloped him. Under this power of law, Wang Xiao's escape route was sealed by Mo Qingyun. Space imprisonment. Seeing that the space around him was sealed, Wang Xiao's expression trembled and a sense of panic appeared. With the space around him sealed, he lost the chance to escape and could only face Mo Qingyun's sword light head-on. Ancient blood slash. After a brief moment of panic, Wang Xiao did not hesitate and took out his long saber and slashed forward. Under Wang Xiao's blade, an imposing blade light slashed at the oncoming sword light. Soon, the sword light penetrated the sealed space and met the saber light slashed by Wang Xiao. Facing the obstruction of the saber light, the sword light directly penetrated and slammed into Wang Xiao's body. After being hit by the sword light, Wang Xiao's chest was immediately pierced through. Then, Wang Xiao was sent flying and his chest was dyed red with blood. After seriously injuring Wang Xiao with one strike, Mo Qingyun's attack did not decrease and continued to chase after him. When he was above Wang Xiao, Mo Qingyun did not waste time with him and slashed at him again. Then, a sword light flashed and arrived in front of Wang Xiao. Space deviation. Facing Mo Qingyun's sword light, Wang Xiao's expression immediately trembled and he quickly dodged to the side. Under the power of the law of space, Wang Xiao's body slanted and he left his original position. Then, Mo Qingyun's sword light was slanted and did not hit him. After dodging Mo Qingyun's sword light, Wang Xiao's face was filled with lingering fear and he immediately turned to run for his life. "Wang Xiao, you can't escape." Seeing that Wang Xiao was about to run for his life, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold and he immediately chased after him. Mo Qingyun's figure flashed a few times and he caught up to Wang Xiao and slashed at him again. Space shackle. Space compression. When Mo Qingyun attacked this time, he used the law of space again to increase the power of his attack. Then, Wang Xiao was trapped again and could only take Mo Qingyun's sword light head-on. Space deviation. With the previous experience, Wang Xiao did not dare to take the sword light head-on and immediately dodged. However, when he dodged, the sword light turned from a slash to a sweep and directly swept him. Then, Wang Xiao's body was split into two and he instantly lost the ability to fight. Seeing this, Wang Xiao finally panicked and immediately abandoned his physical body to run for his life. At this moment, when Wang Xiao was about to escape, a group of people approached quickly. Seeing that group of people arrive, Wang Xiao's face immediately lit up and he revealed an excited expression. He said, "Mo Qingyun, the people sent by the Supreme One are here. You're finished." Before we're finished, I'll get rid of you first. Hearing Wang Zhao's words, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold, and he reached out with his palm. Chapter 27:18. The large palm grabbed down and directly captured Wang Zhao's primordial spirit, bringing it before Mo Qingyun. After capturing Wang Zhao's primordial spirit, Mo Qingyun quickly formed a hand seal and pointed at Wang Zhao's primordial spirit. Then, Wang Zhao's primordial spirit's aura was weakened to the extreme. Mo Qingyun, even if you capture me, you will definitely die today. Wang Zhao roared at Mo Qingyun with a sinister expression after being captured by Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun chose to ignore Wang Zhao's roar and looked at the people from the Dark Demon race. Soon, the group of people from the Dark Demon race arrived in front of Mo Qingyun. Although there were only a dozen people sent by the Dark Demon race, every one of them was extremely strong, especially the leader of the group. His cultivation had reached the peak of the universe realm, and might even have touched the threshold of the eternity realm. If he had touched the threshold of the eternity realm and comprehended a trace of the time law, it would be bad for Mo Qingyun. So it's Lord Zi Huai. Wang Zhao was pleasantly surprised when he saw the peak universe realm elite. His face was full of excitement. In his opinion, no matter how strong Mo Qingyun was, he would only be slaughtered in the face of such an existence. The peak of the universe realm. The Dark Demon race really thinks highly of me. Mo Qingyun frowned when he saw Zi Huai and the others before him. His expression became somewhat grave. Given his current strength, it would still be somewhat difficult for him to contend with a peak universe realm elite. Release Wang Zhao. Zi Huai ordered Mo Qingyun with a darkened face after he sized up Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun wasn't afraid of Zi Huai's order at all. With a cold expression, he said, "You want me to release Wang Zhao? This is absolutely impossible. If you have the ability, save him from my hands." Zi Huai's face darkened when he saw Mo Qingyun's attitude. He snorted coldly and said, "Mo Qingyun, although you forced Sage Qing Lao to flee in a sorry state on the desolate continent, this is the starry sky of the myriad worlds. It's not your place to be arrogant." Zi Huai shouted coldly and waved his hand at the crowd to deal with Mo Qingyun together. When he saw the performance of Zi Huai and the others, Mo Qingyun's expression tightened as a wisp of shock flashed across his eyes. Based on Zi Huai's behavior, he was a cautious person. He didn't look down on Mo Qingyun just because of his low cultivation. Such a person could be said to be the most difficult person. Under Zi Huai's command, the powerhouses of the Dark Demon race surrounded Mo Qingyun and attacked him. In a short while, the power of various laws enveloped Mo Qingyun. Under the power of the various laws, Mo Qingyun's mobility was immediately greatly affected. Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate and immediately slashed forward with his sword. Sky-piercing. Mo Qingyun swung his sword and a domineering power blasted out from the divine Nine-Bull sword. Under the bombardment of this power, the various laws that enveloped Mo Qingyun were overbearingly broken. After breaking the surrounding power of the laws, Mo Qingyun's figure moved and immediately left. How is this possible? He actually resolved the joint attack of more than 10 universe realm powerhouses so easily. Wang Zhao's expression immediately trembled when he saw Mo Qingyun's performance. His face was filled with shock. Under Wang Zhao's shock, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate at all and immediately blasted a palm toward Zi Huai and the others. Spatial overlap. Mo Qingyun blasted out a palm and a mysterious spatial law blasted out from his palm. Then, the space where Zi Huai and the others were trembled violently. Subsequently, Zi Huai and the others were separated, and they were separated into different spaces. Fortunately, I comprehended the spatial overlap law. Otherwise, I would be in trouble now. After separating Zi Huai and the others, Mo Qingyun's expression relaxed and he said a sentence of relief. Just as Mo Qingyun's expression was relaxed, The space where the two of them were was broken by their attacks. The two of them have comprehended the spatial overlap law to this extent. They can't stay. Seeing the two's performance, Emo Qingyun's expression turned cold and murderous. The two of them had comprehended the spatial overlap law to the extreme and could break any spatial overlap law. In this case, if the two of them stayed, Emo Qingyun's spatial overlap law would be ineffective. Spatial shackle. After deciding to attack the two of them, Emo Qingyun blasted out a palm and imprisoned the two of them. After imprisoning the two of them, Emo Qingyun rushed toward them and slashed out a sword at the two of them. Ignore defense. Emo Qingyun slashed out with his sword and blasted out a sharp sword light that carried a domineering force. The sword light was extremely fast and arrived in front of the two of them in the blink of an eye, slashing down at them domineeringly. Immemorial mirror image escape. Immemorial demonic cat transformation. Facing the incoming sword light, the two of them didn't dare to be careless and immediately displayed their natural superpowers. Next, a mirror shadow appeared in front of one of them and helped him share the attack of the sword light. As for the other person, he turned into a black cat and emitted a wild aura. Bang bang bang, the sword light engulfed the two of them and erupted with an earth-shattering sound, creating a terrifying energy storm. Under the impact of the energy storm, the mirror shadow shattered in the blink of an eye and dissipated between heaven and earth. As for the other person, he was also beaten into his original form and his face became as pale as paper. Bang bang, when the two of them's defense methods were broken, they were blasted away and seriously injured by Emo Qingyun's sword. After seriously injuring the two of them with one sword, Emo Qingyun's attack didn't stop and slashed out another sword at them. An even more threatening sword light blasted out from the Nine-Bull Divine sword and engulfed the two of them in an instant. Pucci, after being bombarded by the sword light again, the two of them were directly destroyed and their divine souls were completely destroyed. Seeing the fate of the two of them, Wang Zhao's expression immediately trembled and his face became as pale as paper. How is this possible? How can this kid be so strong? At this moment, the strength that Emo Qingyun displayed was beyond his understanding. In his opinion, no matter how strong a person was, there should be a limit. 2. After Emo Qingyun killed the two of them, he looked towards Zi Huai and the others and said coldly, "There are 9 left. You're easier to deal with, so I'll finish you off first." As Emo Qingyun's words fell, his figure moved and charged towards a white-robed elder. Seeing Emo Qingyun charging towards him, the white-robed elder's expression trembled and a sense of panic arose. Emo Qingyun was right. He was indeed the weakest among them. Even the two people just now weren't a match, let alone him who was weaker. In a fluster, the white-robed elder hurriedly blocked Emo Qingyun's attack. However, his resistance was completely inadequate and didn't have the slightest effect. Chapter 27:19. Killed 3 people so quickly. Seeing Emo Qingyun's performance, Wang Zhao was frightened until his expression trembled. The combat power that Emo Qingyun displayed was seriously too terrifying. In his view, even late-stage Cosmos Realm powerhouses also found it very hard to do this. "Damn brat, this old man is going to tear you to shreds." Seeing his accompanying subordinates being killed by Emo Qingyun one after another, Zi Huai gnashed his teeth in anger. With their lineup, taking care of a late-stage, second-stage brat, they still had several people killed by the other party consecutively. If this kind of thing were to get out, it was seriously too humiliating. "Break for me!" Zi Huai roared furiously. A surge of spatial shattering law blasted out from his palm. Following that, the spatial overlapping law that isolated him was dispersed by him domineeringly. Coming out of the isolated space, Zi Huai's figure flashed and flew over towards Emo Qingyun. Zi Huai's figure flashed a few times and he arrived in front of Emo Qingyun, cleaving down a palm at Emo Qingyun. Primordial Dark Heaven Palm. Zi Huai blasted a palm out. A surge of apocalyptic bloodline power erupted from his palm. Following that, this surge of terrifying bloodline power turned into an enormous palm shadow, enveloping down towards Emo Qingyun. What a powerful bloodline power! Feeling the power of Zi Huai's palm, Emo Qingyun's expression was shocked, truly understanding his might. However, what made Emo Qingyun feel slightly at ease was that Zi Huai did not comprehend time law. Since Zi Huai did not comprehend time law, he would have some advantage in the battle with Zi Huai. The Nine-Bull Divine Sword in his hand had the power to break spatial law and could be unafraid of any spatial law attack. Taurus Sky-Cleaving Sword, Venomous Bull Abdomen Water Sword, Thunder Bull Punishment Sword. Emo Qingyun slashed out several sword slashes in succession, blasting towards that enormous palm shadow. Sword light blasted out from the Nine-Bull Divine Sword, like a wild bull galloping wildly, colliding with the enormous black palm frenziedly. Bang, bang, bang. Faced with the bombardment of the sword light, the huge black palm was instantly defeated and slowly dissipated between heaven and earth. Following that, several sword rays blasted towards Zi Huai, quickly engulfing him. What a domineering sword art! Seeing Emo Qingyun's performance, Zi Huai was shocked and his expression immediately turned serious. At this moment, he finally realized how difficult it was to deal with Emo Qingyun. Seeing Emo Qingyun's strength, Zi Huai did not dare to be careless anymore and immediately executed a divine ability to block the sword light. Immemorial Dead Spirit Seal. As Zi Huai formed a series of hand seals, black imprints began to condense around his body. Once these imprints were formed, they emitted a deathly aura and bombarded the incoming sword rays. Chi. Under the attack of the deathly aura, the power of the sword radiance was continuously weakened. In just a short moment, the sword light was defeated and dissipated. What a powerful defensive divine ability! Its defensive method is a little like sword aura. Seeing Zi Huai's performance, Emo Qingyun's mind spun and immediately had a plan. He said, "This guy's strength is too strong. I can't finish him off in a short time. Take care of the others first." Spatial overlap. Emo Qingyun made his decision. He blasted out a palm again, releasing a surge of spatial law. Following that, a surge of spatial overlap law power blasted out from Emo Qingyun's palm. Immediately, the few people who had just broken the spatial overlap law were separated into other spaces again. Damn brat, really slippery like a loach. Seeing that he was isolated again, Zi Huai gnashed his teeth in anger, but there was nothing he could do. Helpless, he could only watch on helplessly as Emo Qingyun went to kill his subordinate. Spatial shackles. Emo Qingyun's figure moved, arriving in front of a person and shackling the space around him. Shackling that person's space and controlling his mobility, Emo Qingyun stabbed out a sword at him. Ignore defense. A streak of sword light rumbled out, carrying a swift and fierce aura, instantly engulfing that person. Suffering the bombardment of the sword light, that person cried out miserably, his aura starting to weaken slowly. Barring no accidents, that person most likely could not survive under Emo Qingyun's sword. Finished off another person. Seeing Emo Qingyun's performance, Wang Zhao's heart trembled, his eyes filled with shock. This kind of situation, if not for seeing it with his own eyes, he would not dare to believe that this was real. After killing one person with a single sword strike, Emo Qingyun didn't hesitate at all as he charged towards another person. "Brat, you dare!" Seeing Emo Qingyun's actions, Zi Huai roared angrily, breaking the spatial overlap law once more. Immediately, he rushed towards Emo Qingyun, stopping Emo Qingyun from dealing with his subordinate. At this moment, his heart was filled with grievance, having a feeling like a fishbone stuck in his throat. It was clearly them who besieged Emo Qingyun, but the result was that Emo Qingyun annihilated them one by one. This kind of huge contrast made him feel very stifled. Spatial shackles. Regarding Zi Huai's attack, Emo Qingyun did not clash head-on with him, circling around the others. This action of Emo Qingyun's made Zi Huai very helpless, unable to do anything about Emo Qingyun. Shackling Zi Huai's movements, Emo Qingyun arrived at another person's side and unleashed an attack on that person. Emo Qingyun's sword slashed down. A tyrannical and swift sword light flew out from the Nine-Bull Divine Sword. Spatial expansion. Spatial deviation. Seeing the sword light attacking, that person did not resign himself to death, immediately making a move to resolve the attack. Under his attack, two surges of spatial law powers immediately changed the space in front of him. Immediately, the distance between the sword light and him was immediately pulled several times larger. At the same time, the direction that the sword light rumbled out also underwent an enormous deviation. Relying on this, the sword that Emo Qingyun slammed towards him was resolved by him. Resolving Emo Qingyun's attack, that person did not hesitate in the slightest, immediately retreating towards the back and said, "This kid comprehended spatial overlap law. He can't be dealt with by relying on numbers. Let's retreat to one side right away, don't implicate Boss Zi Huai." "Zi Huai is right, you all retreat to one side first." Hearing that person's words, Zi Huai immediately instructed the few people to continue pursuing Emo Qingyun. Very soon, Zi Huai arrived in front of Emo Qingyun, tangling together with Emo Qingyun. As for Zi Huai's few subordinates, they retreated far away, not giving Emo Qingyun the chance to make a move. Seeing such a scene, Emo Qingyun's brows furrowed, and he said with a sigh, "Forget it, then I'll finish you off first. As long as I finish you off, the others won't be a problem." Emo Qingyun muttered to himself. He did not think any more and fought with Zi Huai with all his might. Seeing Emo Qingyun's actions, Wang Xiao was frightened half to death and said in shock, "Is this kid crazy? Facing a peak universe realm powerhouse, he actually wants to have a head-on confrontation." Under Wang Xiao's shocked gaze, a faintly discernible light gate flew out from Emo Qingyun's head. Following that, a profound spatial law power emitted out from the light gate. Chapter 27:20 Spatial Shackles. Following the spatial gate entering the body, the spatial law that it carried let Emo Qingyun know. Knowing the laws that the spatial gate carried, a faint smile surfaced on Emo Qingyun's face and he said, "This way, I possess dual spatial shackles laws. I wonder if Zi Huai can break dual spatial shackles laws or not." When such a thought arose, Emo Qingyun could not wait and immediately launched an attack on Zi Huai. Spatial shackles. Following Emo Qingyun's attack, two profound spatial laws radiated out from his body. Very soon, two spatial shackles laws enveloped Zi Huai, restricting his mobility. "Break for me." Seeing that he was shackled, Zi Huai's face fell, and he immediately smacked a palm forward. A surge of astonishing bloodline power, carrying a surge of spatial law, erupted from Zi Huai's body. Bang, 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 a series of loud bangs emitted from in front of Zi Huai. It was just that no matter how Zi Huai attacked, he was unable to break the spatial shackles. How can it be like this? Why did this brat's spatial shackles become stronger all of a sudden? Seeing the situation before his eyes, Zi Huai's expression shook. A look of shock surfaced in his eyes as he said, "It must be that light gate just now. Just what kind of divine ability is that, to actually be able to increase the power of laws?" When Zi Huai thought of this point, his mood became heavy. This was too bizarre to him. Splitting space, ignoring defense, spatial compression. While Zi Huai was shocked in his heart, Emo Qingyun slashed out again, blasting out an even stronger sword light. The sword light's speed was extremely swift, arriving in front of Zi Huai in a twinkle, slamming down towards his face. Not waiting for Zi Huai to react, the sword light tore through space and swallowed him inside. Poochie. Suffering the bombardment of the sword light, Zi Huai immediately suffered heavy injuries. A hideous wound appeared on his chest. Seeing such a scene, Wang Xiao immediately revealed a look of shock and said, "This? How is this possible? Even a peak universe realm powerhouse is actually not his match. B-Boss is injured. Second brother Ziyan, what should we do now? Should we go up and help? With that kid's means, even if we rush up, I'm afraid we won't be able to help, right? Let's go. Even if we die, we'll die with boss." Zi Huai's subordinates quickly made a decision. Soon after, their figures moved and they immediately charged towards Mo Qingyun. Zi Huai's expression shook when he saw his subordinates charging over, and he revealed a worried expression as he shouted, "All of you aren't a match for him. Quickly leave this place. Don't increase the unnecessary casualties." Ziyan and the others didn't listen to Zi Huai, and all of them revealed resolute expressions. From the looks of it, they seemed to be ready to face death and fight to the death with Mo Qingyun. "You've come at the right time. I was just wondering how to deal with you." Seeing those people coming, Mo Qingyun grinned, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Soon after, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed as he charged towards one of them. Mo Qingyun's idea was simple. These people were weaker, so it would be easier to deal with them. It wouldn't be too late to deal with Zi Huai after dealing with them. Space overlapped. When Mo Qingyun charged towards the few people, he blasted out a palm at them, separating them. Under Mo Qingyun's palm, the space in front of the few people shook, and they were separated. After separating the few people, Mo Qingyun charged towards one person and unleashed a domineering attack on him. Facing Mo Qingyun's stormy attacks, this person's defense was immediately overstretched, and he was killed by Mo Qingyun with a sword. After killing that person, Mo Qingyun's attacks didn't slow down. He continued to fly towards other people. Subsequently, under Mo Qingyun's ceaseless attacks, Zi Huai's subordinates were killed one after another. Towards this, Zi Huai, who was trapped in dual spatial shackles, was completely helpless. Before long, under Mo Qingyun's domineering attacks, all of Zi Huai's subordinates were killed. All dead. Seeing Zi Huai's subordinates all killed, Wang Xiao sucked in a breath of cold air, his complexion becoming as pale as a sheet. 10 universe realm powerhouses were killed by Mo Qingyun just like that. Furthermore, it was even in front of a peak universe realm powerhouse. This kind of accomplishment was too terrifying. They're all dead. Now it's your turn. After killing Ziyan and the rest, Mo Qingyun looked towards Zi Huai, preparing to make a move to kill him. When Mo Qingyun's words faded, he no longer hesitated and immediately slashed out a sword at Zi Huai. Immediately, a sword light rumbled towards Zi Huai with an imposing momentum like a rainbow. Facing the bombardment of the sword light, Zi Huai's expression trembled, wanting to dodge its attack. Unfortunately, the space around him was shackled, making him have no way of dodging. Helpless, he could only make a move to block with all his might, forcefully withstanding Mo Qingyun's sword light. Poochie! Zi Huai's attack did not have the slightest effect on blocking the sword light. Very soon, the sword light passed through the palm image that Zi Huai blasted out and domineeringly slashed onto his body. Under the domineering bombardment of the sword light, one of Zi Huai's arms was chopped off. Fresh blood immediately dyed his clothes red. In a short moment, Zi Huai became battered and exhausted, losing his awe-inspiring posture from before. This is impossible. This must not be true. Seeing Zi Huai become powerless under Mo Qingyun's attack, Wang Xiao revealed a look of despair. In his opinion, even Zi Huai was not a match. He was really dead without a doubt. Mo Qingyun ignored Wang Xiao's despair. His gaze looked coldly at Zi Huai and he said, "Originally, you guys could still live for a while more. But you guys just had to interfere in the Divine Wood Imperial Court's matters. This is you guys taking the initiative to court death." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he did not waste any more words and slashed out at Zi Huai again. Following that, a sword light with an astonishing aura blasted out from the divine nine-bull sword. The sword light rumbled out and very soon struck Zi Huai, worsening his injuries. At this moment, under Mo Qingyun's attack, Zi Huai became a human target. I can't accept this. A moment later, under Mo Qingyun's sword, Zi Huai was killed with a wave of unwillingness. Seeing Zi Huai die, Wang Xiao froze on the spot, his gaze becoming empty and lifeless. He really did not expect that it would be like this in the end. Ignoring Wang Xiao's feelings, Mo Qingyun killed Zi Huai and the rest, and he flew back to the Divine Wood Imperial capital. Before long, when Mo Qingyun returned to the Imperial capital, the battle here was already over. Master, the Imperial capital's traitors have all been eradicated. Seeing Mo Qingyun return, Ma Wenguang reported the battle situation. His brows furrowed slightly, and he said, "It's just that because our commotion was too great, some of the traitors took advantage of the chaos to escape. Pursue with all your might, don't let a single one go." After hearing Ma Wenguang's report, Mo Qingyun gave him the order. After that, Mo Qingyun gave some instructions to everyone, and he moved Zi Shu out of the Fortune mainland. Chapter 27-21. A few days later, under the reorganization of Ma Wenguang and the others, the original territory of the Divine Wood royal family was basically recovered. However, some remnants of the rebellion mysteriously disappeared and got rid of Ma Wenguang's pursuit. Inside the Divine Wood royal palace, Mo Qingyun and the others gathered here to discuss the governance of the kingdom. Shi Wendi was the first to step forward. He cupped his hands to Mo Qingyun and said, "Mr. Mo, Wang Xiao and the others have been killed, but the kingdom can't be without a ruler. Princess Zishu is still inexperienced and can't stabilize the situation in a short time. I implore you to take over as the new monarch. Mr. Mo, please preside over the overall situation. Mr. Mo, please take over as the monarch." Hearing Shi Wendi's words, Ma Wenguang and the others responded. Seeing everyone's reaction, Lord Beixian frowned and showed a trace of dissatisfaction. He said, "Everyone, I don't think this is appropriate. Although Mr. Mo has worked hard in the process of restoring the kingdom, he is not suitable to be the monarch." Lord Beixian's words immediately aroused everyone's dissatisfaction. They all turned to look at him angrily. In everyone's view, Lord Beixian's current actions were likely to have ulterior motives. Lord Beixian did not care about everyone's anger. He said in a deep voice, "We killed Wang Xiao and the others because we wanted to restore Princess Zishu's kingdom. Now Mr. Mo is the monarch. Isn't he the same as Wang Xiao and the others?" Hearing this, everyone was speechless and could not find a reason to refute. It had to be said that what Lord Beixian said now was reasonable. Lord Beixian is right. While everyone was at a loss for words, Mo Qingyun nodded in agreement. He gave the Lord of Beixian an encouraging look and said, "Lord of Beixian, if you have any good suggestions, why don't you tell us?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Lord Beixian pondered for a while and said, "Then I'll be frank. Princess Zishu is still inexperienced and can't take over the position of monarch. However, she has some elders who are still alive. You might as well choose one of them." Hearing Lord Beixian's words, Ma Wenguang and the others frowned. In Wang Zishu's family, although there were some surviving members of the branch family, they were all ordinary people. With their qualifications, it was even more impossible for them to become monarchs. The only person who was qualified to do so was the king of Beixian. Everyone thought about it and understood what Lord Beixian meant. This fellow had gone around in a big circle, so it turned out that he wanted to be the king himself. Understanding the meaning of King Beixian's words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said, "It's too troublesome to do that. Since I'm reviving Zi Shu's country, the position of monarch should naturally be hers. If anyone objects, I don't mind having them accompany Wang Xiao and the others." Unexpectedly, Mo Qingyun bestowed the ancient city of Qiankuan to King Beixian, giving him a hot potato. However, thinking of King Beishuan's intentions, no one sympathized with him. "Thank you, Mr. Mo." Knowing Mo Qingyun's intention, King Beixian did not dare to refute and nodded to accept the reward. Seeing King Beishuan's performance, Mo Qingyun nodded calmly and said, "Marshal Ma, in order to deal with Wang Xiao and others, the demon clan invaded the interior of the continent. Please expel them." "Yes." Ma Wenguang nodded. After instructing Ma Wenguang, Mo Qingyun looked at Pang Meng and asked, "Is there any news about the star nest origin?" "Not for the time being, but the people sent should be back soon." Hearing Mo Qingyun's inquiry, Pang Meng reported truthfully. Hearing this answer, Mo Qingyun nodded in understanding and did not ask any more questions. After assigning some matters, Mo Qingyun's expression turned solemn, saying, "In that case, the coronation ceremony will be held in 3 days, and let Zishu appoint the Divine Wood Empire's ruler." Hearing Mo Qingyun's order, Ma Wenguang and the others immediately complied and went to prepare. After Ma Wenguang and the others left, Mo Qingyun did not stay any longer and also went out from the main hall. Mo Qingyun left the main hall and entered the Fortune mainland in a flicker. Arriving at Wang Zishu's residence, Mo Qingyun found that all the women were there, chatting and laughing with Wang Zishu. Perhaps because her revenge was averted, Wang Zishu's expression was obviously more relaxed than before. Mo Qingyun's arrival immediately attracted the women's attention, and they asked about the Divine Wood Empire's situation. Hearing the women's questions, Mo Qingyun gave a simple answer, and at the same time informed Wang Zishu about the coronation ceremony. Chapter 27-22. Zishu, what position are you going to give me after you ascend the throne? I want an official position too. It's best if you give me a bigger one. I'll make you my concubines and serve Zishu's daily needs. If they serve Zishu's daily needs, what about Qingyun? He. The more the women spoke, the more ridiculous they became, making Mo Qingyun very embarrassed. Immediately, Mo Qingyun coughed and began to change the topic. Zishu, the Divine Wood Continent is just a small place. Although you've ascended the throne, you don't have to pay too much attention to national affairs. The most important thing for you now is to improve your cultivation as soon as possible. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Wang Zishu's pretty face became serious, and she immediately nodded. She knew very well that without great strength, it was impossible to defend the kingdom's territory. Seeing that Wang Zishu understood, Mo Qingyun looked at Yi Wuyo and the other women and said, "You too, seize the time to improve your cultivation. If I can't take you into the heavenly realm, you can stay in the starry sky and have the power to protect yourself." The women heard and nodded. They could understand Mo Qingyun's worries. If Mo Qingyun couldn't take them into the heavenly realm, they would be in a bad situation. With their current speed, when Mo Qingyun went to the heavenly realm, they wouldn't be too high. After instructing the women, Mo Qingyun gave them pointers on their cultivation and dispelled their doubts about cultivation. Under Mo Qingyun's guidance, the women suddenly became enlightened, and all the problems in their cultivation were solved. After guiding the women in their cultivation, Mo Qingyun left with Wang Zishu to prepare for the coronation ceremony in 3 days. 3 days passed quickly. On this day, the Divine Wood Imperial capital was decorated with lanterns and colored banners. It was a joyous and prosperous scene. After everything was ready, Ma Wenguang entered the hall and walked in front of Mo Qingyun. He said, "Mr. Mo, according to your previous instructions, I invited all the forces of the Divine Wood Continent to come, but none of them came." After Ma Wenguang finished speaking, he took out a scroll and handed it to Mo Qingyun. Yes. Mo Qingyun noted down the names of the forces that did not come. His face turned cold as he made a plan in his heart. Then, he waved his hand at Ma Wenguang and instructed, "Don't bother with these people. Act according to the circumstances." "Alright." Ma Wenguang nodded and left the hall. After instructing Ma Wenguang, Mo Qingyun's face darkened, producing a faint chill. In his opinion, if these forces were not eliminated, it would be difficult for Wang Zishu's throne to stabilize. Next, under the arrangements of Shi Wendi and the others, some things were carried out step by step. Several hours later, the coronation ceremony was over, and the banquet began. As the banquet began, everyone entered the hall and enjoyed the fine wine and delicacies. After a round of toasting, Shi Wendi glanced at the people from all the forces with a solemn expression and said, "Everyone, now that the new emperor has ascended the throne, everyone is celebrating. This year, you only need to pay half of the tribute of previous years." As soon as Shi Wendi's words came out, there was an uproar in the hall. Everyone was shocked. What? A Galaxy Realm girl ascends the throne and we have to pay tribute? Master, we won't hide it from you. When King Wang Shao was on the throne, we didn't need to pay tribute. You were able to replace Wang Shao and the others with our help. You can't burn the bridge after crossing it. Voices of dissatisfaction sounded. Seeing everyone's reaction, Mo Qingyun's gaze turned cold and a look of disgust appeared in his eyes. He knew the truth of the matter very well in his heart. When Wang Shao and the others were in power, they needed to pay tribute 30% more than before. Just as these people said, when Wang Shao was on the throne, there was no need to pay tribute. They were really full of nonsense. More importantly, when Mo Qingyun and the others dealt with Wang Shao, these people didn't contribute at all. The reason they said this was because they didn't want to pay tribute. Since you miss Wang Shao and the others so much, it seems that you are all their accomplices. Glancing at the people in the hall, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold and he shouted, "Since these people are all the remnants of Wang Shao and the others, take them all down." Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ma Wenguang nodded and accepted the order. Soon after, Ma Wenguang led a group of people and rushed into the main hall. Seeing this scene, the forces that were unwilling to pay tribute immediately showed reverence. They could see that the new king wasn't scary, but the man behind him wasn't to be trifled with. "King, please calm down. We are willing to pay tribute. We have offended you just now. Please give us another chance, Your Majesty. We are willing to pay tribute 50% more than before." Understanding their situation, the people immediately kowtowed and begged for mercy. Even Wang Shao and the others were defeated. If they disobeyed, they could imagine what would happen to them. Seeing the reaction of the people, Mo Qingyun nodded and hinted to Shi Wendi. After receiving Mo Qingyun's signal, Shi Wendi immediately understood. He looked at the people in disdain and said, "A bunch of wretched things. Since Mr. Mo doesn't want to pursue the matter, we will do as you say." "Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Mr. Mo." Seeing that Mo Qingyun didn't pursue the matter, the people felt as if they had been pardoned and immediately kowtowed to express their gratitude. Seeing the people's actions, the disdain in Shi Wendi and the others' hearts became even more intense. Next, the people from the various forces trembled in fear and continuously toasted Mo Qingyun. However, Mo Qingyun ignored their toasts, showing his disdain for them. After a few hours, the banquet ended. Once the banquet ended, the people hurriedly left, not daring to stay for even a moment longer. Mo Qingyun didn't stop the people from leaving, worried that they would go back on their words. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, if they dared to go back on their words, he would just go to their sections. At this moment, when the people from the various forces were leaving, the people who were investigating the fragment returned. "Mr. Mo, there's news of the fragment. It is indeed evolving into a planet." After receiving the news of the fragment, Pang Meng reported to Mo Qingyun and said, "According to the people who were investigating, there is a pure energy fluctuation on the fragment. It must be the energy fluctuation of the star nest's source." Hearing Pang Meng's report, Mo Qingyun's eyes lit up, and he felt a sense of urgency. Immediately, he didn't hesitate and immediately said to Pang Meng and the others, "I'm going to the fragment. Guard this place for me and assist Zishu in governing the kingdom." "Yes," Pang Meng and the others replied. Seeing the attitude of Pang Meng and the others, Mo Qingyun didn't stay any longer and rushed to the fragment. Chapter 27-23. A little over 10 days later, Mo Qingyun traveled at full speed and arrived at the extreme north of the Wood Origin Galaxy, where he found the space fragment. Just as Pang Meng had reported, the space fragment was evolving into a cultivation planet. As Huang Xiaolong approached the space fragment, he could clearly feel a pure energy fluctuation. As expected, it's the Star Nest Origin's aura. Sensing the energy fluctuation, Mo Qingyun's face lit up, revealing a brilliant smile. Then, Mo Qingyun flew towards the space fragment and soon arrived at the space fragment. Although the spiritual energy on the space fragment was rich, there was no one living here, and it was a barren land. After a simple scan, Mo Qingyun roamed around, looking for the Star Nest Origin's location. Several hours later, under Mo Qingyun's searching, he found the Star Nest Origin's location. Standing at the Star Nest Origin's location, Mo Qingyun's brows were deeply furrowed as he muttered to himself, "Based on the current situation, it will take at least half a month for the space fragment to complete its evolution." With this result, Mo Qingyun's figure flickered, entering the Fortune mainland. Since there was still half a month's time before the space fragment's evolution was complete, there was no need for him to wait idly. After entering the Fortune mainland, Mo Qingyun dived into the Grand Mist Fog Sea, hunting Grand Mist spirits to increase his cultivation. Mo Qingyun arrived at the Grand Mist Fog Sea, and without hesitation, he arranged a formation in the Grand Mist Fog Sea. When the formation was complete, Mo Qingyun waited for the Grand Mist spirits to enter the formation. A few days passed quickly. After several days of hunting by Mo Qingyun, several Grand Mist spirits were killed. Among these Grand Mist spirits, there were 3 late-stage Star Domain Realm, 1 Peak Star Domain Realm, and 1 Early Universe Realm. Killing an Early Universe Realm spirit, looks like my luck is not bad. Looking at the 5 Grand Mist spirits he had killed, Mo Qingyun revealed a satisfied smile. There are still a few days before the space fragment's evolution is complete, so I'll refine them first. Then, Mo Qingyun left the Grand Mist Fog Sea and found a place to cultivate on the Fortune mainland. Refine. The first Grand Mist spirit that Mo Qingyun refined was a late-stage Star Domain Realm Grand Mist spirit. Under Mo Qingyun's refinement, a pure Grand Mist energy was extracted from the Grand Mist spirit's body. Then, this pure Grand Mist energy poured into Mo Qingyun's body. Sensing the primordial energy entering his body, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately began to refine it. As Mo Qingyun refined the Grand Mist spirit, his aura became stronger. Half a day later, a late Star Domain Grand Mist spirit was refined and absorbed by Mo Qingyun. 2 days later, Mo Qingyun refined all 3 late Star Domain Primordial spirits. 7 days later, under Mo Qingyun's hard work, all the primordial spirits had been refined. Peak Star Domain Realm. After refining all the Grand Mist spirits, Mo Qingyun sensed his cultivation, and a look of regret appeared on his face. It seems like I need to refine at least 10 Space Realm Grand Mist spirits to break through to the Space Realm. Mo Qingyun sighed inwardly, then stood up and left the Fortune mainland. If nothing unexpected happens, the space fragment's evolution should be complete. Coming out from the Fortune mainland, Mo Qingyun's first instinct was to take away the Star Nest's origin. But to Mo Qingyun's surprise, when he returned to the space fragment, he saw a group of people in front of him. "Hurry up, if the Star Nest origin completes its evolution, it will run away." Young Lord might be able to comprehend the time law after refining the Star Nest origin. At that time, young Lord will be able to put up a fight against early space realm masters. Just as Emo Chinyan appeared, words of flattery entered his ears. Then, he saw a group of people setting up an ancient array formation. From the looks of it, they seemed to be setting up an array formation to capture the star nest origin. Competitors are here. Emo Chinyan's heart skipped a beat, and he immediately thought of a possibility. Then, he raised his vigilance, thinking of how to snatch food from the tiger's mouth. These people were not weak, especially that young man. His cultivation was already a half-step Eternal Realm Master. This is not good. Sensing these people's strength, Emo Chinyan frowned, and a great pressure rose in his heart. While Emo Chinyan's heart was heavy, the other party noticed his appearance, and immediately revealed a cold gaze. When did this kid appear? Why didn't I sense anything? He hid from our perception. This kid has some ability. This kid must be here for the star nest origin. Immediately deal with him. Whether it is for the star nest origin or not, we can't let this kid stay. Several people swept a few glances at Emo Chinyan, and killing intent rose in their hearts. Then, one of them walked out and flew towards Emo Chinyan at an extremely fast speed. Seeing this person approach, Emo Chinyan's expression tensed up, and he thought to himself, "It seems that if I want to obtain the star nest origin, I must deal with these guys." Ignore defense. Taurus sky collapsing / Emo Chinyan made a decision in his heart, and without further thought, he immediately slashed at that person with his sword. Suddenly, a sword light cut through the sky, and blasted towards that person at an extremely fast speed. A mantis trying to stop a chariot, overestimating your own strength. Seeing Emo Chinyan attack, that person curled his lips in disdain. Clearly, in his eyes, Emo Chinyan's cultivation was not enough to pose a threat to him. That person said a disdainful sentence, and then he sent out a palm, erupting with a terrifying aura. Perhaps because he looked down on Emo Chinyan, that person did not use the law of space when he attacked. An enormous palm shadow blasted out from that person's palm, welcoming the sword light. Except, facing the palm shadow's resistance, the sword light directly penetrated it. Penetrated. Seeing the abnormal scene before his eyes, that person was frightened until his expression changed drastically, and he cried out in shock, "What kind of divine ability is this? Or is it augmented with the law of space?" For a moment, that person's heart was filled with puzzlement, and his expression also became tense. At the same time, he did not dare to be careless either, immediately making a move to resist the sword light. It was just that his resistance did not have the slightest effect, failing to block the attack of the sword light. Poochie! The sword light flashed past, and that person's body was directly split into two. Due to it being too sudden, under the attack of the sword light, even his origin spirit did not escape. Looking at this unforeseen event, the others were all stunned, their faces full of shock. Miao Heng is dead. That kid killed Miao Heng with one sword. How is this possible, with his cultivation? How is it possible? This kid is so strange, let's all be more careful. In a short moment, everyone's fear of Emo Chinyan reached an unprecedented level. When everyone was on guard against Emo Chinyan, that youth swept a glance at Emo Chinyan and said, "Deacon Li, Elder Wu Huigua, the two of you take action and capture that kid." Yes. Hearing the youth's order, the two immediately responded. Chapter 27-24. One is at the late stage of the universe realm, and the other is at the peak of the universe realm. Sensing their cultivation bases, Emo Chinyan's brows furrowed tightly as he raised his guard. With his current strength, it would take some effort to deal with these two. More importantly, even if he dealt with these two, there was still the stronger youth in blue. It's not realistic to kill them all. I have to find a chance to snatch the star nest origin. Emo Chinyan analyzed the situation and came up with a plan. He knew what to do. The other party had many people, and he could not fight them head-on. He could only think of a way to outsmart them. If that's the case, I can't kill these two. I have to deal with them slowly. Soon, a perfect plan formed in Emo Qingyun's mind. With this thought, Emo Qingyun held back a part of his strength and pretended to fight with difficulty. Seeing Emo Qingyun's performance, everyone's concern for him immediately lessened a little. Then, the youth and the others retracted their attention and ignored Emo Qingyun. Seeing the youth and the others' performance, Emo Qingyun's lips curled up slightly and a faint smile appeared on his face. The youth and the others did not care about him. It would be much easier for him to do what he wanted to do next. What he needed to do now was to slowly bide his time and look for a good opportunity to strike. Space Gate. To ensure that nothing went wrong, Emo Qingyun used the Space Gate to increase his trump card. Soon, a faintly discernible light gate flew out from Emo Qingyun's head. After the Space Gate was used, it entered Emo Qingyun's body and the law of space appeared in his mind. Space imprisonment. It seems that my luck is not bad. With it, things will be much easier. After knowing the law of Space Gate, Emo Qingyun's lips curled up slightly and a bright smile appeared on his face. The law of space double imprisonment. Even if these guys were strong, they would not be able to break through it in a short time. Next, Emo Qingyun dealt with Li Yi and the other youth unhurriedly. An hour passed. Emo Qingyun was still holding on bitterly, looking like he was in a perilous situation. However, no matter how dangerous Emo Qingyun's situation was, he managed to pull through. Seeing Emo Qingyun's behavior, the young man and the others realized that something was wrong and paid attention to Emo Qingyun again. Deacon Li Yi, can you two do it? The two of you can't even take care of a celestial domain grade brat. This is very embarrassing. Do you need our help? The other people beside him all started to mock him. Hearing those people's words, Li Yi and Li Qi's expressions immediately darkened. In their opinion, if they didn't deal with Emo Qingyun soon, it would cause the young man's dissatisfaction. However, what made them speechless was that even though their attacks had become fiercer, the result did not change. Emo Qingyun was still in a perilous situation. Under their attacks, he was surrounded by perils, but he managed to preserve his life. This brat isn't simple. Based on his performance, it seems like he still has some strength left. The young man frowned when he saw Emo Qingyun's performance. There was a look of surprise in his eyes. Clearly, Emo Qingyun's current performance had surprised him. When he heard the young man's words, an old man beside him asked curiously, "Young Lord Sun Jie, since this brat is a little strange, do you want to send more people to deal with him?" "No need." The young man waved his hands in response to the old man's question. A celestial domain grade brat is not important. The star nest source is about to complete its transformation. Right now, the most important thing is to obtain the star nest source. We can't let this brat ruin our plans. Yes. The old man nodded when he heard Sun Jie's words. Then, they no longer paid attention to Emo Qingyun and continued to set up the array formation to trap the star nest source. At this moment, the aura emitted by the origin of the star nests suddenly intensified. This was a sign that the star nest source's transformation was complete. Not good. The star nest source's transformation is complete, but the array formation is not complete. Sun Jie and the others were shocked when they saw this. Then, they became anxious. Their array formation was not complete. If the star nest source wanted to escape, it would be very difficult for them to trap it. When Sun Jie and the others thought of this, their expressions became tense. Their hearts were in their throat. The star nest source's transformation is complete. Emo Qingyun was stunned when he sensed the situation with the star nest source. He was fully alert. Then, he separated a wisp of his consciousness to pay attention to the star nest source's movements. Not long after, an intense aura rippled out from the ground. Following that, everyone saw a figure of light flying out from the ground at an extremely fast speed. Bang! 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 When this light shadow appeared, it entered the array formation set up by Sun Jie and the others and crashed around crazily. Under the impact of the star nest source, the array formation set up by Sun Jie and the others immediately showed signs of shattering. Attack with all your might. Don't let it escape. Sun Jie was shocked when he saw the star nest source's behavior. His gaze became fierce. Hearing Sun Jie's words, Li Yi and the other person who were dealing with Mo Qingyun also flew towards Sun Jie. A good chance. Seeing that Li Yi and the other person ignored him, Mo Qingyun's expression became joyful, and a brilliant smile appeared on his face. Li Yi and the other person besieged him. If he wanted to snatch the star nest source, he would have to put in some effort. However, Li Yi had abandoned him. This gave him an opportunity that he could take advantage of. Spatial compression. Spatial imprisonment. Mo Qingyun struck out with his palm. Two mysterious law energies blasted out from his palm. Under the spatial compression law, the space around Sun Jie and the others immediately shrunk together. Soon, Sun Jie and the others were gathered together. Each of them had a shocked expression. Under such an opportunity, not only did Mo Qingyun not take the opportunity to escape, he even launched a sneak attack on them. Before they could react, the two spatial imprisonment law energies enveloped them. Damned brat! Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, Sun Jie was enraged. He shouted, "Brat, if you ruin my plan, I will tear you to pieces and refine your primordial spirit for 10,000 years." Sun Jie angrily roared as he crazily attacked, bombarding the surrounding space. Under Sun Jie's command, his subordinates attacked one after another, frantically bombarding the surrounding space. What shocked them was that Mo Qingyun's spatial imprisonment law was abnormally strong and stable. After trapping Sun Jie and the others, Mo Qingyun did not dare to hesitate. He immediately slashed his sword at the array formation. Under Mo Qingyun's sword, a sword ray with an imposing aura shot out from the Nine-Bull Divine Sword. Subsequently, Mo Qingyun broke a hole in the array formation that Sun Jie and the others had set up. After Mo Qingyun broke the array formation, he connected it to the Fortune mainland. Soon, Mo Qingyun saw a light figure flying out from the array formation. This light figure had just left the array formation when it disappeared. Chapter 27-25. Space Compression. Shadow Ox Storm Sword. With the star nest origin in hand, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate and immediately flew away on his sword. Mo Qingyun's figure flashed, and he was thousands of miles away, disappearing from the eyes of Sun Jie and the others. "Damn kid, you can't escape!" Sun Jie roared when he saw Mo Qingyun fleeing. Then, he started bombarding the space around him. Under the frenzied bombardment of Sun Jie and the others, the surrounding space was finally broken. "After him!" Sun Jie threw down a sentence, turned into an afterimage, and chased in the direction Mo Qingyun had fled. Hearing Sun Jie's words, the people behind him hurriedly chased after him. "Young lord, the direction that kid is fleeing is towards the Blood Soul Galaxy. Should we order the Blood Soul Imperial family to encircle and annihilate him?" Following beside Sun Jie, the old man who had made the suggestion before asked for Sun Jie's opinion again. Hearing the old man's question, Sun Jie thought for a moment, then nodded to the old man. "Immediately send a message to the Blood Soul Imperial family and have them seal the galaxy's passage and pay attention to that kid's whereabouts at all times." "Yes." The old man nodded. The old man took out a jade bead and formed a hand seal on it, producing a strange power. Then, the old man put away the jade bead and followed closely behind Sun Jie. While Sun Jie and the others were chasing, Mo Qingyun had already fled far away, shaking them off. "If I keep fleeing like this, I'll enter the Blood Soul Galaxy, which can solve a problem." Thinking of the Blood Shadow Remnant thought in the Blood Soul Galaxy, the corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up slightly, and he decided to get rid of it. This guy's origin was too great. If he kept cultivating, Mo Qingyun wouldn't be at ease. Mo Qingyun couldn't guarantee that the Blood Shadow Remnant thought wouldn't enter the Eternal Realm after this round of seclusion. If the Blood Shadow Remnant thought broke through to the Eternal Realm, Mo Qingyun would be doomed if he encountered it again. Then, Mo Qingyun flew at full speed towards the Blood Soul Galaxy. Several days later, just as Mo Qingyun was rushing at full speed, the sound of an intense battle appeared in front of him. Hearing the sounds of fighting ahead, Mo Qingyun was curious and immediately flew towards the source of the sound. Snatch the bride? When Mo Qingyun saw the battle, a word popped up in his mind. The two parties involved in the battle were Interstellar Bandits and the Bridal Escort Team. From the looks of it, the Bridal Escort Team will be annihilated in another 15 minutes. Mo Qingyun glanced at the battle situation and had an answer in his heart. He knew that the Bridal Escort Team was in trouble. At this moment, Mo Qingyun attracted the attention of the Space Bandits as he watched the battle from the side. Fifth brother, there's a little brat watching over there. He discovered that we've robbed the Blood Lake State's wedding procession. If the Blood Lake State's family finds out about this, I'm afraid we'll be in big trouble. Hey Shu, Taishi, you two go and deal with that brat. When they discovered Mo Qingyun's presence, two people flew out from the Space Bandits and prepared to deal with Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun froze when he saw the other party's actions. He knew what the other party wanted to do. It didn't take long for He Shu and the other man to arrive before Mo Qingyun. Brat, you can only blame your bad luck for seeing the Bloodwood Bandits' method. He Shu glanced at Mo Qingyun and smirked. Then, he took the initiative to charge towards Mo Qingyun. Tai Shi didn't hesitate when he saw He Shu launch an attack. He also launched an attack on Mo Qingyun. The two of them weren't weak. Both of them had peak celestial domain grades and could be considered powerhouses. Of course, their strength wasn't enough to deal with Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun narrowed his eyes when he saw He Shu and Tai Shi's actions. He smiled faintly and said, "The unlucky ones should be the Bloodwood Bandits. I was just passing by and didn't want to meddle in your business. However, you just had to provoke me. Don't blame me for this." After Mo Qingyun said that, he took out the Nine-Bull Divine sword and slashed at the two of them. A sword gleam streaked across the sky and slashed at the two of them in a domineering manner. The two of them didn't dare be careless when faced with Mo Qingyun's sword gleam. They immediately used all their strength to block it. Starry Sky Wave Pushing Palm. Tai Shi blasted out with his palm. Violent sacred power surged out and turned into a sky-shaking wave. It was as if the starry sky was about to be pushed by this wave. Its power was terrifying. Shadow Mouse escaping finger. He Shu waved his finger and a ray of black light shot out in a flash. When the ray of light appeared, it had already arrived in front of Mo Qingyun and blasted towards Mo Qingyun's head. However, when the ray of light neared Mo Qingyun, it was destroyed by a sword aura. When the sword aura destroyed the ray of light, the sword aura cut through the wave and swallowed He Shu and Tai Shi. Under the sweep of the sword light, He Shu and his companion were immediately beheaded. Mo Qingyun had killed them with a single strike. Because the sword aura was too powerful, even their primordial spirits couldn't escape under the attack of the sword aura. The instant death of He Shu and Tai Shi immediately attracted the attention of both sides. Looks of shock appeared on their faces. Two pinnacle star domain level powerhouses had been instantly killed by a single sword strike. Fifth brother, that kid is so strong. What should we do? Seeing Mo Qingyun's strength, one of the Bloodwood Bandits asked nervously. Hearing this person's question, the fifth brother frowned, a serious look on his face. He said, "That kid is very strong. He's a tough opponent. Don't worry about him for now. Let's kill the members of the Blood Lake Prefecture's clan first." After the fifth brother finished speaking, their attacks became even fiercer. They wanted to end this battle as quickly as possible. Under the attacks of Fifth Brother and the others, the situation of the Blood Lake Prefecture's people immediately became precarious. That young master is very powerful. Let's send reinforcements to him. That's right. If he is willing to help, our crisis will be resolved. Let's retreat in that young master's direction. The members of the Blood Lake Prefecture's clan quickly made their decision. Seeing the actions of the Blood Lake Prefecture's clan, the Bloodwood Bandits naturally wouldn't allow them to do as they wished. Only, in the face of the Blood Lake Prefecture's clan, there was nothing the Bloodwood Bandits could do. Before long, the group of people from the Blood Lake State family arrived in front of Mo Qingyun. Young master, this old man is He Ting, a consecrator of the Blood Lake Prefecture's clan. Please save us. An old man from the Blood Lake Prefecture's clan immediately pleaded Mo Qingyun when he arrived in front of Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun frowned when he heard the old man's words. He hesitated as to whether or not he should make a move. I need someone to guide me to the Blood Soul Galaxy. The Blood Lake Prefecture's clan is a good choice. Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment before he made a decision and nodded at the old man. Then, Mo Qingyun turned his head and looked at the Bloodwood Bandit. I'll give you 3 breaths of time to get the hell out of my sight. Sir, although you are strong, you can't make us leave with just a few words. The Bloodwood Bandit's 5th brother chuckled and said disdainfully when he saw Mo Qingyun's attitude. Chapter 27-26. Seeing the attitude of the Bloodwood Bandit's 5th brother, Mo Qingyun didn't say much to him and directly slashed at him with his sword. Under Mo Qingyun's sword, an imposing sword ray blasted out like a dragon emerging from the sea. Facing Mo Qingyun's sword ray attack, the Bloodwood Bandits immediately revealed a shocked expression. They could feel how powerful Mo Qingyun's sword was. Immediately, they no longer hesitated and immediately resisted Mo Qingyun's sword with all their strength. In an instant, all kinds of powerful divine abilities were displayed by the bandit. Puff, puff, puff. Under the sweep of the sword ray, the divine abilities displayed by the Bloodwood Bandits were overbearingly dispersed. After dispersing the divine abilities of the Bloodwood Bandits, the sword ray's attack didn't decrease in the slightest and immediately engulfed them. Bang, bang, bang. Under the overbearing bombardment of the sword ray, the Bloodwood Bandits were all sent flying. Under the overbearing bombardment of the sword ray, they were all seriously injured and blood dripped from the corners of their mouths. Is the power of my sword enough? After injuring the bandits with a sword, Mo Qingyun asked them with a calm face. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Bloodwood Bandits all revealed a look of awe. They knew very well that if Mo Qingyun wanted to kill them, they definitely wouldn't be able to block his sword. Your Excellency is very strong. I am sincerely convinced. The Bloodwood Bandit's 5th brother cupped his hands respectfully to Mo Qingyun. Immediately, he waved his hand and left with his subordinate. Seeing the Bloodwood Bandits leave, the Blood Lake State's family's expression relaxed and showed that they had survived a disaster. Thank you, young master. Looking at Mo Qingyun in front of him, Zhou Ting respectfully thanked him. In response to Zhou Ting's gratitude, Mo Qingyun indifferently waved his hand and said, No need to thank me. I am going to the Blood Soul Galaxy. Bring me there. Yes. Hearing Mo Qingyun's order, Zhou Ting immediately responded and led the way. Next, the people of the Blood Lake Prefecture began to prepare and set off. After entering the bridal escort airship, Mo Qingyun found a secret chamber and went into seclusion. In order to check the situation along the way, Mo Qingyun asked Luo Jian to stay in the cabin and keep an eye on the outside. Since Mo Qingyun had entered the Fortune mainland, Huang Xiaolong had headed to the Grand Mist Sea to hunt Grand Mist spirits. Now that Mo Qingyun's strength had risen greatly, the distance he traveled deep into the Primordial Mist Sea had increased by quite a bit compared to before. As he went deeper and deeper into the Primordial Fog Sea, Emo Qingyun's curiosity towards the primordial fog sea grew stronger and stronger. What is the origin of the primordial mist sea? What secrets does it have? Emo Qingyun pondered as he went deeper into the primordial mist, and a strand of strong curiosity arose within him. However, the result was still the same. He still didn't understand. Not long after, Emo Qingyun stopped moving forward and arrived at the 2,000-meter region of the primordial mist sea. This was his current limit. Since Emo Qingyun had arrived here, he didn't think too much about it and immediately set up a formation to hunt Grand Mist Spirit. With Emo Qingyun's help, a level 4 formation was quickly completed and enveloped Emo Qingyun. After doing all this, Emo Qingyun didn't think too much about it and waited inside the formation. A few days later, under Emo Qingyun's hunting, he killed several Grand Mist Spirit. This time, his luck wasn't as good as the last time. Although he had killed 9 Grand Mist Spirits, none of them were in the space realm. Right at this time, Luo Jian's voice suddenly sounded, attracting Emo Qingyun's attention. Master, the Blood Lake Prefecture's family sent word that we have arrived at the Blood Soul Galaxy. Hearing Luo Jian's words, Emo Qingyun left the primordial mist sea and returned to the secret chamber. After returning to the secret chamber, Emo Qingyun sent Luo Jian into the Fortune mainland and walked out of the room. Mr. Emo, let's go. Seeing Emo Qingyun walk out of the secret chamber, Zhou Ting bowed respectfully and gestured for him to leave. Seeing Zhou Ting's action, Emo Qingyun nodded and followed him down the flying boat. A while later, under Zhou Ting's lead, a huge blood lake appeared in front of Emo Qingyun. In the middle of the blood lake there was a huge island with majestic palaces and mansions built on it. That was the Blood Lake Prefecture's family. Soon, Emo Qingyun and the others crossed the blood lake and arrived in front of the prefecture's mansion. At this time, there was already a large group of people waiting in front of the gate to welcome Zhou Ting and the others. Consecrated Zhou Ting, it must have been hard on you. Seeing that Emo Qingyun and the others had returned, the Zhou family's patriarch, Zhou Zhaoshan, greeted them politely. Hearing Zhou Zhaoshan's words, Zhou Ting smiled wryly and waved his hand, saying, "This time, our journey to the wedding was not smooth. We were intercepted by the Bloodwood Bandit. Fortunately, Mr. Emo came to our rescue." Intercepted by the Bloodwood Bandits? Zhou Zhaoshan's gaze turned cold and his body emitted a murderous aura. Then, he looked at Emo Qingyun with a shocked expression. Looking at his expression, he seemed to have recognized Emo Qingyun, but he didn't seem to have any impression of him. "Mr. Emo, this Zhou Zhaoshan will remember your kindness in my heart." After sizing up Emo Qingyun, Zhou Zhaoshan cupped his hands and expressed his gratitude, expressing his attitude. Towards Zhou Zhaoshan's actions, Emo Qingyun nodded indifferently and didn't say anything. After exchanging some pleasantries with Emo Qingyun, Zhou Zhaoshan turned to Zhou Ting and said, "Consecrated Zhou Ting, I still have to continue receiving guests. Please help me entertain Mr. Emo." "Yes." After hearing Zhou Zhaoshan's instructions, Zhou Ting went to receive Emo Qingyun. Emo Qingyun didn't mind Zhou Zhaoshan's arrangement and casually walked into the residence. When Emo Qingyun entered the residence, he happened to meet the bride and casually glanced at her. Sensing Emo Qingyun's gaze, the bride immediately bowed and said softly, "Tang Wan, thank you Mr. Emo for saving my life. You don't have to be so courteous." Emo Qingyun waved his hand indifferently. Then, he left with Zhou Ting and went to the guest room to rest. Looking at Emo Qingyun's back, Tang Wan didn't say anything and left with the maids. After leading Emo Qingyun into the guest room, Zhou Ting smiled apologetically and said, "Mr. Emo, please forgive me for not taking good care of you. If you need anything, just let me know." "Okay." Emo Qingyun nodded. Then, Zhou Ting said a few words to Emo Qingyun and left. After Zhou Ting left, Emo Qingyun continued to cultivate and didn't care about the Zhou family's matters. While Emo Qingyun was cultivating, The Zhou family's wedding banquet was in full swing. It was a joyous scene. During the banquet, Zhou Zhaoshan summoned Zhou Ting and asked about Mo Qingyun's background. While Zhou Zhaoshan and Zhou Ting were talking, the groom, Zhou Mingyu, walked over and said, "Father, I heard from Tang Wan that they encountered a group of interstellar bandits on the way." "That's right." Zhou Zhaoshan nodded. After getting confirmation from Zhou Zhaoshan, Zhou Mingyu was shocked and said, "If that's the case, I should thank him in person." Chapter 27. After a while. Outside Mo Qingyun's courtyard. "It's him." Looking at the figure in the courtyard, Zhou Mingyu was shocked. He didn't expect that the person who saved Tang Wan was a wanted criminal of the Blood Soul Galaxy. After obtaining such a result, Zhou Mingyu became absent-minded for a moment and hesitated. "This is a serious matter. I have to discuss it with my father." Zhou Mingyu thought to himself and then turned to leave. He didn't express his gratitude to Mo Qingyun. In his opinion, the Zhou family couldn't bear the crime of harboring a criminal. Even if Mo Qingyun saved Tang Wan, he didn't want to take the risk. Soon, Zhou Mingyu came to Zhou Mingyu's courtyard with a heavy expression. "Didn't you go to thank Mr. Mo? Why do you look so worried?" Seeing Zhou Mingyu return to the courtyard, Zhou Mingyu was confused and immediately asked him. Hearing Zhou Mingyu's question, Zhou Mingyu shook his head and said, "Father, you don't know. Mr. Mo's identity is not ordinary. He is a wanted criminal of the Blood Soul royal family." "What? He is a wanted criminal?" Zhou Mingyu's expression changed. His face was full of shock. He was shocked by this news. Obviously, he knew the consequences of harboring a wanted criminal. While Zhou Mingyu was shocked, he showed a look of realization and said, "No wonder I felt a sense of familiarity when I saw him. He is a wanted criminal of the Blood Soul royal family." After learning this secret from Zhou Mingyu and Zhou Mingyu, Zhou Ting's expression became heavy. He asked, "Master, since Mr. Mo is a wanted criminal, what should we do next? Should we ask him to leave immediately?" "Ask him to leave? Why should we ask him to leave?" Hearing Zhou Ting's question, Zhou Mingyu smiled and said, "Master Zhou Ting, you may not know what reward the Blood Soul royal family will give if we catch Mo Qingyun. It is a top-tier universe weapon." Zhou Ting's expression changed. He understood Zhou Mingyu's plan. He was repaying kindness with enmity. However, when he thought of Mo Qingyun's strength, Zhou Ting became worried again. He said, "Master, Mr. Mo is very powerful. If he finds out that we betrayed him, the consequences will be unimaginable." Hearing Zhou Ting's words, Zhou Zhishan frowned and started to have some misgivings. He had already learned about Mo Qingyun from Zhou Ting. Mo Qingyun's true strength was in no way inferior to a universe realm powerhouse. Although he had 3 universe realm experts in his prefecture, he could not guarantee that he would be able to stop Mo Qingyun. If Mo Qingyun managed to escape, it would be a huge problem. Compared to Zhou Zhinshan's worry, Zhou Mingyu had a nonchalant look on his face as he said, "I heard from Tang Wan that Mo Qingyun's cultivation is only at the peak of the star sector level. No matter how strong a peak star sector level person is, how strong can he be?" Mingyu is right. There is a limit to how strong a peak star sector level person can be. Hearing Zhou Mingyu's words, Zhou Zhinshan's worry immediately lessened. He said, "This risk is worth taking for a top-tier universe realm weapon." Zhou Zhinshan made his decision and discussed the details of how to deal with Mo Qingyun with Zhou Mingyu and Zhou Ting. "There are many people in the residence at the moment. Let's not touch Mo Qingyun for the time being. Also, remind Mo Qingyun to make some simple disguises when he goes out to avoid being recognized. The imperial family has issued a warrant for his arrest. Many people have received the news. There is no guarantee that no one will recognize him. In that case, I will go and look for Mr. Mo." After the 3 of them finished their discussion, they went their separate ways. Not long after, Zhou Ting arrived at Emo Qingyun's courtyard and looked for Emo Qingyun anxiously. Minister Zhou Ting, why have you come in such a hurry? What is the matter? Looking at Zhou Ting in front of him, Emo Qingyun was puzzled. He immediately asked him. Zhou Ting pretended to be nervous when he heard Emo Qingyun's question. He looked around and said, Young Master Emo, I just received news that you've been ordered to be wanted by the royal family. I've come to remind you to disguise yourself so that the guests won't recognize you. Oh, the Blood Soul Imperial family wants me? Is it because of the Dark Demon clan? When Emo Qingyun heard that he was a wanted man from Zhou Ting, he started guessing. He did not expect that the Blood Soul Imperial family wanted him because of Xin Jie. In his opinion, he had wiped out the Divine Wood Imperial family and the Dark Demon clan wanted to deal with him. That's not right. I just came to the Blood Soul Galaxy. How would the Blood Soul Imperial family know? When Emo Qingyun thought of this, he was a little puzzled. He didn't understand the reason. After thinking hard for a while, Emo Qingyun stopped thinking about it and abandoned the distracting thoughts in his mind. Thank you for the reminder, Zhou Ting. I will be careful. Emo Qingyun collected his thoughts and nodded at Zhou Ting. He did not show any worry. After reminding Emo Qingyun, Zhou Ting left. It seems that I have to improve my strength as soon as possible to better deal with the Dark Demon clan. After watching Zhou Ting leave, Emo Qingyun returned to the house and continued to cultivate and improve his strength. After an unknown period of time. Young master, the wedding banquet is about to start. The head of the family asked me to invite you. A voice came from outside the house and interrupted Emo Qingyun's cultivation. Hearing the voice outside the house, Emo Qingyun stopped cultivating and walked out of the house. It didn't take long for Emo Qingyun to arrive at a hall under the guidance of the maidservant. At this moment, the hall was full of guests and the scene was very lively. Mr. Emo, please sit here. Seeing Emo Qingyun enter the hall, Zhou Ting came up to him enthusiastically. Then, under Zhou Ting's guidance, Emo Qingyun walked to a table and sat down. Emo Qingyun's arrival did not attract anyone's attention and he was happy to see it. Soon, all the guests arrived and the banquet proceeded in an orderly manner. After a round of toasting, the newlyweds entered the hall and toasted the guests. After a while, the couple walked up to Emo Qingyun and raised their cup. Mr. Emo, thank you for saving Lil Wan. Here's a toast to you. There's no need to be so polite. Emo Qingyun waved his hand indifferently at Zhou Mingyu and Zhou Ting's actions. Because of Zhou Mingyu and Zhou Ting's actions, everyone looked at Emo Qingyun differently. I heard that the Zhou family's wedding procession encountered a group of bandits. It seems to be true. So it's this young man who saved the Zhou family's wedding procession. He's at the peak of the star sector level at such a young age. This young man is very talented. Everyone pointed at him and whispered. Emo Qingyun did not care about everyone's reaction and sat casually in his seat. After Zhou Mingyu and Zhou Ting left, everyone's attention on Emo Qingyun gradually decreased. Chapter 27-28. At night. In Zhou Mingyu and Tang Wan-er's bridal chamber. It's getting late. You should rest early. Looking at Tang Wan beside him, Zhou Mingyu smiled gently and raised his hand to wrap it around her waist. Facing Zhou Mingyu's action, Tang Wan frowned. There was some resistance in her eyes. But for some reason, she forced herself to endure it and did not stop Zhou Mingyu's action. I've already fulfilled my promise and married you. When will you send people to help the Tang family? Resisting Zhou Mingyu's action, Tang Wan frowned and asked Zhou Mingyu. Facing Tang Wan's question, Zhou Mingyu smiled faintly and said, Today is our wedding day. Let's put other things aside first. I'll ask father tomorrow. Zhou Mingyu's answer immediately made Tang Wan feel disappointed. At the same time, a figure appeared in her mind. If he's willing to help, perhaps he can solve the crisis of our Tang family. Back then, when consecrated Zhou Ting asked him to help, he immediately agreed. Perhaps I can give it a try too. The moment this thought appeared in Tang Wan's mind, it quickly took root and sprouted. I'm a little tired from rushing all the way here. Due to her disappointment in Zhou Mingyu, Tang Wan's face was cold as she replied to him. Then, Tang Wan pushed Zhou Mingyu's hand away and went to the side to rest. Seeing Tang Wan's action, Zhou Mingyu's gaze turned cold, but he did not force her. You rest first. I'll go out for a while. After Zhou Mingyu said those words, he walked out of the house. Seeing Zhou Mingyu leave, Tang Wan's beautiful eyes moved and she also walked out of the room. Could it be that because of what I said earlier, he came here to ask the family head to send people to help our Tang family? Tang Wan walked out of the bridal chamber. Looking at Zhou Mingyu's back, she hesitated for a moment before following him. Not long after, Tang Wan followed Zhou Mingyu to Zhou Mingyu's courtyard. Seeing Zhou Mingyu enter the courtyard, Tang Wan thought for a moment and decided not to follow him. Let's see what they have to say. Tang Wan's beautiful eyes moved. She released her divine sense to eavesdrop on Zhou Mingyu and Zhou Mingyu's conversation. Under Tang Wan's eavesdropping, Zhou Mingyu and the others' words immediately entered her ears. Father, now that the guests have left, can we make our move? Zhou Mingyu's voice rang out. Following Zhou Mingyu's voice, Zhou Zhishan's voice rang out. Grand Elder Zhou Qing and Grand Elder Zhou Guang have already exited their seclusion and are preparing to return to their clans. When the two of them return, we will make our move against Mo Qingyun. Hearing the conversation between Zhou Zhishan and Zhou Zhishan, a shocked expression immediately appeared on Tang Wan's pretty face. They want to deal with Mr. Mo? This news scared Tang Wan quite a bit. If she hadn't heard it with her own ears, she wouldn't have believed it even if she were beaten to death. The reason Zhou Mingyu came to look for Zhou Zhiman was not to send reinforcements to the Tang clan, but to deal with Mo Qingyun. Mr. Mo is my savior. If Zhou Mingyu wants to deal with him, why would he send people to help the Tang family? Tang Wan's mind was very nimble. She only needed to think for a moment before she saw through Zhou Zhishan and Zhou Zhishan. Soon after, he completely lost confidence in the Zhou family sending reinforcements. They want to do something to Mr. Mo. I have to inform him immediately. As soon as Tang Wan thought about it, she didn't dare delay and immediately went to warn Mo Qingyun. Soon, Tang Wan arrived at Mo Qingyun's residence. She called Mo Qingyun out and said, Mr. Mo, Zhou Zhishan and the others want to deal with you. You have to leave the Zhou residence quickly. Zhou Zhishan wants to deal with me? Hearing Tang Wan's words, Mo Qingyun frowned. A look of shock appeared on his face. The news Tang Wan brought to him was too sudden. He wasn't prepared at all. Logically speaking, as the daughter-in-law of the Zhou family, Tang Wan should be on the Zhou family's side. But now, she was tipping him off and telling him the Zhou family's secret. This was too abnormal. Zhou Ting told me before that the Blood Soul royal family is looking for me and told me to be careful. But now they want to deal with me. This is too abnormal. Could it be that they didn't warn me because they were worried that others would deal with me, but because they want to deal with me personally? Mo Qingyun analyzed in his mind and understood the reason. He knew what Zhou Zhishan and the others wanted to do. Then, a faint smile appeared on Mo Qingyun's face. He said, What a blood lake family! What a way to repay kindness with enmity! Mr. Mo, you should leave quickly. When the Zhou family's grand elder comes back, it will be too late for you to leave. Seeing that Mo Qingyun didn't have any intention to leave, Tang Wan's face was filled with worry. She urged Mo Qingyun again. Seeing Tang Wan's reaction, Mo Qingyun smiled at her and said, Miss Tang Wan, you don't have to worry too much. A small blood lake family can't do anything to me. Seeing Mo Qingyun's reaction, Tang Wan's beautiful eyes trembled. The idea in her mind became stronger. If Mo Qingyun could deal with the Zhou family's siege, he would definitely be able to resolve the Tang family's crisis. Under Tang Wan's excited gaze, Mo Qingyun looked at the courtyard door and said calmly, "They are already here. Even if I want to leave now, I'm afraid I won't have the chance." "Mr. Mo, you are really good. You can actually make my Zhou family's daughter-in-law risk her life to inform you." Just as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, Zhou Zhishan entered the courtyard and teased Mo Qingyun. Seeing Tang Wan's action, Zhou Mingyu's face darkened. He looked at Tang Wan coldly and said, "Bitch, you actually hid it from me and secretly informed this person. Could it be that he is a wild man outside? No wonder you were so cold to me just now. So it was because you were in a hurry to meet him. If that's the case, I will personally deal with him in front of you later." Hearing Zhou Mingyu's words, Tang Wan's beautiful face changed and she became angry. Zhou Mingyu had gone too far by slandering her like this. After scolding Tang Wan, Zhou Mingyu looked at Mo Qingyun and roared, "Brat, you've got guts. You're being hunted down by the Blood Soul Imperials, but you still dare to come to my Zhou family for a private meeting. It's just a small Blood Soul royalty. As long as I want to, I can easily destroy it." Mo Qingyun didn't care about Zhou Mingyu's words at all. He replied casually and said, "However, your Zhou family is really bold. You actually want to deal with me. Don't you know that since I can save you, I can also destroy you with my own hands? A brat at the peak of the Star Domain realm is really arrogant." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Zhou family's supreme elder shouted angrily with a dark face. He said, "There are many people who are arrogant in front of me. However, they all died under my hands. You won't be an exception today." You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.